gentlemen, I know that this is going to be a beauty. It's Method versus EnVyUs. I'll leave it in your capable hands. Is that right? That sounded like a question. It wasn't.
They're pretty manageable. Snods, of course. That's why he quit playing. His hands.
Oh yeah, hands don't work. Voice is good though.
But yeah, well,
great comms.
Arguable. But it is going to be an explosive game, to say at the very least. I think it should be an exciting one. I mean, Method, in terms of form recently, they've been looking shaky. We can't really lie about that, can we? They were the #1 UK team. We saw consistent wins back to back to back in terms of LAN performance, but recently it's not been as good. And EnVyUs is the complete flip side of that. They have been running rampant stunts.
It was almost as if you couldn't fault Method at all.
Oh yeah.
In the UK, they were winning everything for a good year, maybe a year and a half as well, would you say? For a good long while, they had the grasp over the UK scene, UK Counter-Strike. Each player seemed so versatile and complete. Everyone was AWPing, everyone was clutching, everyone was finding his first frags. Such a fluid team, but in recent form, ever since changing the roster after the loss versus Radix at UK Masters, it seems like their form has slowly but slowly dipped.
Yeah, it's true. They haven't really been able to recover recently, and this was off the back of the addition of Genko as well. Lots of role changes happened in the team. Obviously, Genko, in terms of a statistical standpoint, when you compare him and Fry, the ex-teammate,
really fragging hard.
Yeah, you know that Genko is a good, talented player. It shouldn't be an issue with him to join the team. It was how it actually overly affected the rest of the structure. Everyone had to change roles. Lots of setups have changed. It's not been looking the same, but EnVyUs, look how close-knit they are right now. Going in for the team huddle.
Yep, they know exactly what happens if they're 2-0 here tonight. If they win this game in confident fashion, take both maps, they will be guaranteed, I believe, playoffs.
What do you reckon they're talking about?
Don't know, maybe where they're playing on... No, obviously not. They've always got that sorted. What do you think?
I think they're talking about secret societies that are run by reptilian invaders from space.
Yeah.
That's normally quite a hot topic of debate there.
Yeah, no, maybe. Maybe that's what catches their, or, you know, cools them down a little bit. They're so stressed about the game. They talk about something completely outrageous like that. And that sets the tone.
The old reptiles, mate.
Exactly that.
Back on the ball with this one. Obviously, as we were touching on there, Method, that's your sort of team that when they do play well, it's because they work as a unit in terms of their actual overall emotions. They are one of the most emotional teams. I think when you put them together, you're sort of looking at them and Endpoint in terms of can turn on a dime in terms of how hyped they are and how they actually work. I think
Excel could be up there as well. Obviously, Boaster, Windansky shows a lot of frustration as well when he plays. Boaster, the complete opposite. Shouting, chanting, cheering when they're winning. For me, though, for Method, the thing is, right, the reason they're so passionate before was the fact that they didn't have salaries and have stability in their job playing full-time CS. They had to win every single competition. To keep the dream going, to keep the everything paid for, I guess, you know, living and whatnot, they had to win each and every tournament in a row. As soon as they lost one, they instantly changed the player, brought in Genko. And now they do have more stability on the Method side. They are salaried now, and obviously they have the constant competition coming in every single Saturday.
Yeah.
Ever since then, though, it seems like the added pressure of having the salary, having the bigger org on their side has just slowly but surely broken them.
Because that's the thing with them. Normally, we saw consistent good results in group stages no matter where they were playing, and they would always beat those LAN finals for UK events constantly. They won, we saw, what, back-to-back 4 events in the last season of sort of the UK LAN circuit. They were able to pick up all of those trophies, all of those wins. When it came into sort of 2017, that was where the crack started to show. They lost their first event against Radix, as you said, and that was the turning point.
And when was that? That was April? I believe that was it. It was
May. May was the finals.
Oh, it could have been May. I'm not quite too sure. But what it was we saw FM previously before they joined Method. They'd win everything. Towards the latter portions of 2016, they won Insomnia, UK Masters, Premiership. Following that, the next season of Masters, they won that as well. They won Insomnia again as well. So, constant winnings from them. And actually, what's interesting as well, to show potentially the dip in form as well. Previous iteration of Endpoint, they lost 7 times in a row on LAN to them, 7 maps straight.
Yeah.
And then last week they lost 0-2 to Endpoint, and that puts them onto 2 points. And if they don't get a map here, a draw as a bare minimum, that could be their chances gone of making top 4.
Because that's the thing, it was always the hot debate between Nilzinho and Imi. They were your 2 callers that were always at the helm trying to work their way through, and it was always who is going to be able to keep that consistency together. Nilzinho was actually able to find a lot better structure. He found the team that worked well for him. You know, he's more of your hands-off, sort of the role you used to compare him to is your Smith-style AWPer when you come into the team like that. And that worked very well with the rest of the firepower he has, whereas Imi, he has to be more aggressive, more explosive, very hands-on, has to do everything himself, and that's how they work very differently as well.
Yeah, the players on the Method side are so experienced as well. They usually tend to have a slow start, 0-5, 0 or like 5-1 down, 4-1 down. They're slow burners. Initially, they look shaky, but slowly as the map continues, they improve in form. The question is, though, will EnVyUs let that one slip? We mentioned before, if Method lose too many rounds initially, it gets too far too gone. They're too far behind to potentially come back into the map. Anyway, though, we go into round number 1.
See what the utility they're going for here as well, Snods. Looks like it is going to be that door burst towards the A site. Obviously, double flash out, smoke short, and then overpower the site.
It's got to be a retake from the CTs as well. They're coming in for the fast flank here. Jack being boosted up. Could come in from behind. If it goes now as well before the execution happens, could be detrimental.
Flashbangs have gone over. They are going to push their way through. The smoke actually doesn't go down. Actually doesn't use the flashes either. They've just gone contact off the back of this because they cleared the site. This is really smart, but they didn't know Jax was in the backline. Takes down Nilzinho. That is one huge frag already. They can now try and mount their attack back into the site.
4 versus 4 now. Standing from behind towards him. He needs to find a frag onto VKL and he doesn't. Look at that. The flurry of frags go in favour of EnVyUs. It's going to be 4 versus 1.
Yeah, he was so critical to trying to turn this round back into their favour at that point, but Weber staying alive, the man that's always been in the clutch situations, finds the headshot! Weber's taking them all down as he rips his way through. It's a hat-trick for Weber. If he finds this, he will be able to pick it up. It's just one member left. Jax goes down! Clutch play from Weber. That's as good as it gets. Rolls back the years there.
A massive 1 versus 4 there from Weber. And mounts the first round and the pistol round 1 for your T-side crash. That could be shaken. Or shaking the EnVyUs side. Last time they played Cash last week, they won 16-0. Interesting to see how they take defeat on their side. Lambert right now, just a deagle for him. Found 2 kills into the pistol, which means he will have enough for the orb into the first buy round. It's going to be Forces and Kevlar for the CT side. Versus them will be the fast B rush with the UMPs and the pistols.
Yeah, aggression, all-out shock and awe style play towards that bomb site. VKL will get the smoke down in time, but they're just going to charge straight through it. Pettyskill actually chimes in, though. They are finding these frag stuns. This is not going the way that Method wanted it to. It's all starting to falter at this point. They've already lost 2 men. They do eventually get the trade back from Pulse doing a little bit of footwork. But they're just left with the duo of Weber and Nilzinho.
Exactly that. 4 versus 2 now. Low HP onto Nilzinho as well. 100 HP for the remaining CT players. Armor. To 3 of them as well. Just Lambert there with the deagle. Already found a frag for himself, so doesn't really need to do any more into this round.
Tried to hit him with the aggressive style of CS. They burst their way through, but it has just not worked out in that fashion. The smoke going down from VKL was very important into that round. Able to keep them at bay. They bunched so much time off because of that utility investment we saw on EnVyUs.
Exactly. 4 of the remaining CT players grouped towards B. And now as the time does tick down, they are starting to become wary of where else these remaining T players could be. No players towards the A site currently, though. Bomb in the hands of Nilzinho, Tech 9, Kevlar helmet, and a Molotov is all he has. Smoke grenade for Weber. Question is, what do you do in this scenario when you are 2-man disadvantage? They are going to be heading towards door potentially, or just stay main. And if they do, for the CT side, they have to split up. 2 towards B, 2 towards A. Luckily for Method, it should be a 2 versus 2 towards A side, but look as the rotation comes in towards CT from VKL. If they stack 3 men here, this could be the force by win for EnVyUs.
They have the utility player as well. That's the smoke that's going to go out, trying to give them a little bit of leeway to actually push onto the site. Molotov uses from Neil as well. They want to get those CTs out, those hunkered down angles, but CTs are only just pushing back through. Flashbang over, play together. If they can try and at least get frags on the board, it would be manageable, but Lambert instantly dispatches them both. That's a double kill with the deagle, and the reset comes out. That was supposed to be the easy one.
Exactly that. The reset comes through, but what's more important as well, Jack, is the fact that they found all of the SMGs that are on the floor. Retrieving the guns and bringing them into round number 3 means they won't have to buy up into this round, so the money will keep stacking. They win the eco round as they force it together. And look at that. It's going to be the deagle for Hadji. Mac 10 for Pettiskel. Actually, no, drops it over to Hadji. It's going to be the UMP for 2 players, VKL and Pettiskel, and then Galil onto Lambert, and an M4 for Jax. Versus them will be the full eco from Method. They're going to be conceding this one and buying up into round number 4. The question is, though, will they have an orb? Will they have a full set of AKs, utility needed to take control of mid, take control of A main and B short?
Not getting the bomb down that previous round could come back to bite them.
Indeed. Anyway, that's just going to be Weber. Right now peeking towards mid, see if he can spot any heads. Unluckily for him, though, Jax does retreat from short, goes back towards connector, holding any aggression from mid. Now the CTs have given up control of highway and vent. VK and that's got to be wary. Their flanker coming behind.
Yeah, nice angles to play from EnVyUs as well. You can see easily tradable angles that are in play, playing as duos and just holding crossfires.
Eventually, Weber will find someone. Jax actually does win the duel, makes it 5 versus 4. 1 minute left on the clock right now. This is the eco coming out from Method, so for this round for EnVyUs, they have to try and get as much cash as possible into the remainder of the match.
They are just getting taken down. It's oh so easy for EnVyUs to just peek. They have the range advantage. Lambert as well works his way through with the Galil up against the eco. Hadji chimes in for the final frag. That is going to be the 1 kill coming out with the Mac 10, so at least they get that extra little bit of cash injection.
Yep, now the buy should come in for Method. What do you do? Usually when we cast Method on cash, they go for the mid control. Stanley and Jenko constantly being boosted up towards mid. They take control of that area of the map, and from there they'll split towards highway. They'll regroup, go back towards vent, and go for a split towards one of the sites. They never really go for the contact plays, the 4 or 5 man together, the groupings. Anyway, actually will be just another quality buy coming out. So for Method right now, it's going to be 5 Tech 9s. No utility onto any player, so you have to peek every angle dry.
And flash here early. Genko just trying to keep himself in the clear as they will go for this late burst towards the A side. Only one man up close personal is going to be Hajj, but that Mac 10 could rack up so much free economy into the round slot. If he plays it right, will only find one before he gets traded back down by Weber.
So 4 versus 4 right now. Kits into the CTs, it's not the end of the world for them, but then again, the Mac 10 and the Tech 9 right now into play as the Rangers get closer and closer. Someone comes in towards A main. Jenka crosses back to the site. It's one onto Petiskel and Nilzinho towards A main.
Yeah, Nilzinho has to find this kill here. Petiskel could be taken down. He has to go for the flash peek. Gets obliterated because of this. They're doing work into the round. The Tech 9 comes out for Jenko, but he can't quite pick up any more juicy frags. But Stanley will do some damage instead. Goes massive with the Tech 9, rips his way through 2 more members to the side of EnVyUs, and they reset them. 4th rounds going back and forth means we're on a 2-2 scoreline, favouring the T side, obviously, because the CT economy is so much more weaker and fragile. Right now, for EnVyUs, do they go for another force buy, or do they eventually concede a round? Eco, a buy up into round number 6 with a 4 buy. Actually, then again, they won the force buy. They kept the SMGs because they picked up the guns from Method. That's why they can still buy here. It's going to be round number 5 now. And actually, EnVyUs lose the previous round versus the force buy Method. Ironically, though, Method had the better buy. So, bomb towards T-spawn. Slow default coming out from potentially both teams there. Lambert made noise jumping up, so don't know if he's going to be going for that one. Door is open from Pulse. Lambert misses the shot, though. Pulse peeks straight into him, gets away scot-free. Counting his blessings that he actually got out of there unscathed.
He did indeed. So, Nilzinho holding for a push towards B. Petiskel playing towards, what is that? Checkers. Also, you have VKL and Vent, I believe. So it is towards a 2-2-1 setup. 2 towards A, 2 towards mid. And obviously, Petiskel alone towards that B side. Luckily for them, though, it will be the play towards A. They've got 4 players close knitted towards it. Can they rotate in time is the real question.
The nade. Straight over towards this A bomb site. Pulse actually does get the entry, though, Snarls. This gives them the power play they need. They still think it could be an attack towards that B bomb site. They're going to go for the late retake style of CS here. But Jax runs the risk. He charges straight in. Brute force. He is doing damage. Surely, if he goes down, it'll leave him in such a sour spot. Luckily enough, the rotate started to come over. So much damage has been transferred onto the players. The Molotov goes out. Nilzinho gets a team kill as well. They're just left in a 3 versus 3.
They have no kits as well towards the CT side. The bomb has to go down fast here. Stanley, low HP as well towards quad. After plant positions aren't the best, they have no players towards forklift, so the CT aggression from short, from CT and Kara and whatnot, they can push in. And if they do, that could spell the end of Stanley is so low.
Here's the difference maker as well. Look at the amount of utility they have on the side of EnVyUs. They're now going to expunge that, throw it over, and hope this will give them the leeway they need. They push straight onto the site. They take the fight towards Nilzinho, but Stanley peeks out, finds one, but it is not enough. Pulse also falls in the meantime. The defuse comes back into effect, and they are trading rounds left, right, and center.
No players in the outer plant there for forklift. It means that the CTs were able just to push in uncontested. And that will be the retake coming out from EnVyUs.Academy. You saw how low they waited for the clock to tick down. They waited, and eventually pulled through. They're hoping that Method would peek out and give them an advantage, but instead, though, they just walked up into the site and swarmed together and all through. I believe there are 2 players staying alive as well for the CT economy. Even so, the money is fairly low on the EnVyUs side. Method are going to be buying up once again 5 AKs for themselves as we go into round number 6. Seems like another slow defense coming in from both sides, but Lambert playing aggressive, misses the shot.
Lambert not looking form with the AWP right now. He has had a couple of bad misses here and there. Luckily enough, he did have Petiskel to trade him back out as they get into a manageable situation once again. But the true attack seems to be situated towards that A bomb site.
Haji with the FAMAS. Cross is smoked actually from a main, so they can't have any information of how many players are on site right now from the T side. It's going to be VKL soloing towards the B site with the AWP, retrieved from Lambert's dead body. It's going to be a 3-man stack towards the A site, and the bomb is coming this way as well.
Jackson to the previous round outputted so much splash damage, softened up the opposition, so Method just so squishy at the time. EnVyUs have to mount the retake.
Flush comes in, they're trying to take control of A main.
A little bit awkward that they actually block each other. Don't go for the full commit through the smoke. They do trade though, as kills start to go all over the place. Jenko does one better as he pops the head off Petiskel, but they need to know the location of Jax. They've only just realized what shenanigans he was bringing to the table. Eventually take him down though, as is all left on VKL. Lambert's AWP in his hand, but he misses the opening shot.
Does indeed, turns into a 1 versus 2, has no kit as the Molotov hits the flick though, and Stanley trying to cross back towards the site. Flash comes in though from Weber. He does have A. The question is, though, the molly going down, can he plant?
Tries to go for the fake plant, wanted to bait VKL in, but he's not going to fall for it. Does start to reposition. We're going to see him take the fight from short at this point, it seems. Weber, biding his time, is aware that he has so much time here to play with. 30 seconds left on the clock. He has the smoke down as well, and Weber's playing it smart.
No utility though for VKL. No kits. Also, Pushing through the smoke. VKL holding for the heaven peak and the cross back towards site.
Crosshair, he gets the flick! Weber trying to clear the site. VKL just flicks him from mid. Instant reaction takes him down. Weber kicking himself.
Exactly. They had a 3 versus 2 advantage there towards the A site, but Jax pulled it through. Found those 2 kills. Gave his team the advantage. Eventually to go down, but in the 1 versus 2, VKL prevails. You got to be thinking. I believe it was Stanley that died first in the 1 versus 2, crossing back to the site, jumping before the flashbang had actually bloomed. That's the problem. VKL's AWP wasn't blind, was able to find himself the frag. Jenko goes down early. It's a 4 to 2 is the scoreline. It's currently a 5 versus 4.
Yeah, trying to go for the early information play, have confidence in the spawn, went for the first peak, hoped for the best, but just loses his life because of this. Method can try and play this round very loose though if they want to. Only the 1 smoke investment coming out really, and the Tech 9s. They just want to try and go for that shock and awe style CS into late round.
Exactly that. Only armor onto Nilzini as well. The remaining 3 T players have no Kevlar. Just a Deagle onto Weber, smoke onto Pulse as well, and Tech 9s will be the rest of the buy. So, for EnVyUs, can they have a clean round here?
Look at the setup as well. So easy for them to find these frags at this point. Easy trade potential. They're not even going to need to. They just outright take the fight through. The headshot comes out, taking down Nilzinho. They can respond quite easily as well as the flashback goes through, allows them to peek back into this. They are keeping the T's at bay, penned in by Sunroom stance. They have no real angles to play with. Stanley, meanwhile, at mid gets caught off guard as well on his rotate, and they have him caged in like lions.
They do indeed. Pentaskill though, 4 HP, but still finds the frag onto Pulse, and it's crucial he stays alive as well for the money and bank of Team EnVyUs. 5 players staying alive there versus the eco coming up from Method. So, 5 to 2 is the scoreline now. Another buy round coming out from Method on their T side. We saw them before try and potentially go towards mid. The problem is, Weber's lurk was so late. As soon as the Method side came out of A main, it was too late. Too many players had fallen. Jax towards Forklift was able to find 2 frags. Imagine if Weber was early on with the lurk. Could have been towards Highway, could have had a faster refrag, and that could have been 2 versus 3, or a 3 versus 1, sorry, in favor of Method. Anyway, though, it's going to be the 5 AK buy once again from Method. Jenko, Pulse, and Nilzinho, none of them wielding the AWP into round number 8. Lambert with the AWP as well. Currently posted up towards Squeaky. He knows that they've gone for 2 door bursts so far, and Pulse has been going towards door on his default. And actually, Pulse is outside door right now, so holding for the door to be opened. He missed the shot earlier. Wants redemption.
Switch things up though. Stanley going to go for the mid control here. Play with Weber, try and go for that split push. They're actually going to peek together as well. This could be very effective.
Once again though, a staple of Method's T side. It's going to be Jenko and Stanley there towards boost. Usually they smoke connector, peek out to sandbags, highway vent, try and take control of it with just aim. Nevertheless, the bomb right now outside of door.
This is scary though. Look at Haji pushing in from the back line. He can get so much information. He's going to hear those footsteps, relay that now. They know mid control is being taken. Haji could have gone for the strike, but the smoke will zone him out.
Lambo with the up now as well towards... Oh, actually gone back towards highway, so it is smoked off. That might be funneling the T's back in towards B. Standing here on the lurk, trying to find an entry towards A side, but Lambert has the angle covered.
The smoke's dissipating now as well. That bit of protection they had has faded away. Jax and Lambert are the ones trying to listen out how this play is actually going to go down, assuming it to be towards A, but really it's a B play. They've been absolutely lampooned as they're now going to try and hit the site. They find the open as well. Haji will take down the lurk though towards A, but meanwhile at B, it is all coming up Method right now.
It is indeed. Jax trying to fire through the smoke, trying to make this a 3 versus 3, but unfortunately for him though, he doesn't do it. Lambert holding the cross now. Goes for the jump, doesn't quite land the shot. It's going to be the 4 versus 3 still as the bomb is planted.
An aggressive angle, hard to land the shot, and unfortunately he will not be able to connect it, but at least their presence is known now. A 3 versus 4 retake is possible, but they need to get one opening frag, give themselves an edge back into the round, something to make it manageable.
EnVyUs might go and call for the save here, sorry. Look at that. They're actually exiting through CT spawn. The problem with the B site on Cash is there's so many crossfires that the T's can have. You saw Weber there, under heaven, holding towards CT lower. You have the players on site as well. You can have that crossfire, you can have the crossfire from B main, checkers, so many angles where you can peek on contact or just aid each other in various ways. Such a hard site to retake, but nevertheless it will be 5 to 3 in favor of Team EnVyUs.
Locking that one down as they work their way through. Method going to be pretty happy off the back of that. Get the bomb plant into the round, get themselves a little bit more money to play with, but they have to keep that consistency. We haven't seen them linking rounds together. It's random little spurts of confidence where they have great plays. We've seen all of these rounds be so close though, coming down to the wire in clutch situations multiple times.
Yeah, exactly that. And imagine if Weber doesn't find that frag onto Haji towards default. Or I believe it was VKL actually, but anyway, if that was a frag there towards checkers, that could have been a 3 versus 3, and then suddenly EnVyUs try and go for that one. Instead though, that round favouring Method puts it to 3. And this will have another buy into this one. Lambert with the AWP once again. 4 and 4 to fill out the rest of the buy. And no AWP for the T side. Just 5 AKs for them. Bomb once again towards T-spawn. And we'll be seeing a boost come out for the CTs right here. Jax once again for the lurk.
This is scary. Jack's elevated angle, playing it smart. Don't overcommit instantly. Don't show your hand. Play it close to your chest. Go into the late round. The only thing is Jenko has the angle covered. He knows what his role is here. And Jenko should be able to find the headshot if he goes for this risky play.
Exactly. Wary that the boost could come in. Problem right now for Method on their T side is they have no control of the map. They have checkers. But that's about it. Weber, usually the lurk play here, might have to try and find the entry towards that site. Petiskel holding the angle alone. VKL as well towards CT lower. Goes to the smoke right now, and it's actually towards below. Might be pushing towards checkers.
Nice Molotov in, forces the hand of Weber, which will strike. He actually gets the upper hand, though, takes him down.
Bomb.
Jax finally comes into effect as well. Not only does he spot the bomb, but as you said, it is down in an awkward location. Forces the rotate off for Jenko. This is going to slow him down massively. He does one better as well. Pops out, says hello to Weber, and leaves him in a very awkward spot.
Does indeed. 4 versus 3 now favouring Team EnVyUs once again. 40 seconds left on the clock, and right now, and Method have no control of the map. They don't have mid, they don't have A main, or anything. Instead, though, Haji towards MBK, holding the cross now towards side.
This is on pulse. Jenko to get these openers. Haji's able to strike freely, though. Does what he wants. Gets a double kill. Probably hungry for the triple as well, as he might as well take 3. Will not be allowed it. Gets absolutely denied, but it's all on nilzinho in a 1 versus 3 here. Burns through his last bit of utility as the Molotov will set ablaze to the site. Does roam around, getting out the tag spots, but not quite the frags. He can't officially take the fights, and Petiskel will dispatch him.
Yep, 10 seconds on the clock as well. It's not really a chance for him to even plant in that scenario. 1 versus 3, and he will eventually go down. Another round there, 1 for EnVyUs on their CT side. And typically when we cast Method, it seems like their T sides are so strong. And it's where they flip over, they go on the CT side, the counter-terrorist side, and then it all just crumbles.
Yeah, they can be artists with the AKs on the T side. That's what you're going to see them running rampant, beautiful rifle prowess, but they just have to click. They seem to have different mindsets.
Exactly. At a maximum as well into this first half, the best they can get and ask for is a 9-6 scoreline. If EnVyUs win versus this Force by here, Force and Eco coming out from Method, we could easily be seeing an 8-3 scoreline. If EnVyUs win 8 rounds on their first half as a minimum, well, it all comes down to that CT pistol from Method. If they don't lose it, sorry, if they don't win it, that could spell the end for them already on map 1.
Back towards the old Faithful, trying to take the hit towards the A-bomb site. Limited investment to utility. They're going to try and make the best of what they can. Actually go in dry, wandering straight into the site. Allows Haji in the elevated angle just do so much damage. Everyone else chimes in as well. Rips their way through the Method attack. A great tenacious defense is displayed by EnVyUs, and it all falls to Jenko.
Jenko now the 1 versus 3. Uses smoke towards Connect. Has a Molotov double flashbang as well. 1 minute the clock to work with. But what can he really do in this scenario? Kits onto the CT so they can play retake if they need to. They have the bomb as well towards door. Unless Petiskel finds the frag or gives him the kill towards CT, then maybe there's a chance. But look, they have all the angles covered. Jenko forced to go through highway.
If there's any man you want in these situations, it's going to be Jenko. He's usually so effective, really quite primed, and can do damage. But unfortunately, not going to be able to pull that one out of the bag. A massive task, even for a man of his stature.
So, 7-3 with the scoreline now as we head into the next round. So far, so good from EnVyUs. So they win versus the Force by coming out of Method. And that means they should be getting to 8 rounds here if the Eco comes through, which it does. So round number 11, going to be the Eco here from Method. EnVyUs, they haven't really got too much money in the bank right now. They've got 4,000 and a couple players, so they want to have a clean round here, have 6,000 across the board in their bank account. That way they can buy up another round just in case Method gets a 4.
Legit. Just going to play up close and personal. Has the utility to play with. Right now, though, Method actually switching it up a bit. We're seeing that fallback from the normal aggression where they do play close towards Connector, just play more situated towards mid. Obviously, probably going to go for more of your explosive type play. They can't really play this one out like a gun range.
Yep, Hanchi has the MP9 as well. He's there to stack up as much cash as possible. What's strange as well coming out from the Method side is typically on the T side they play so aggressive towards mid on the buy rounds. But so far, I mean, obviously this is the Eco, so you can't really look too much into it, but on the bar rounds, they boosted up Jenko and Stanley. 1 round they took control of mid, but what did they really do with it? They went back from mid, they came back towards A main, and again, it was Weber lurking. That's the thing I mentioned before. They take control of mid. They need to stay there and split a site and pinch it together.
They are eventually going to bring that boost into fruition right now as the mid hit is going to be the order of the day. But Jax is there and he's locked and loaded. Gets the info as well. Can flashbang over to try and give himself an opportunity to peek, but no one runs the risk just yet.
So, is the 1-man advantage right now into round number 11. And so far, so good for EnVyUs as they have 5 alive versus the Eco.
Pick them off as well. As Method just peeking dry right now. Not too much they can really bring to the table. At this point, they're essentially as good as done as well. 32 seconds left on the clock. They're going to have to go for a straight commit towards the site and just hope they can pull off a suicide play.
Exactly that. Hanchi as well wants to get aggressive with the MP9. He doesn't want this into the next round. wants to get a frag here, 2 kills at best. Actually, if he gets 2 frags here towards A main, that will actually buy the comeback.
Luckily enough, Lambert actually comes in with 2 frags. Pulse finds the kill as well. That's actually fairly good for Method. Lambert goes big with a 3k, but the thing is, that's nowhere near the amount of money they would have received if Hadji was able to find the kills with the MP9s. So
yeah,
fairly good for
exactly
Method.
that. The remaining 3 kills going in favor of the AWP. That's only $300 into the CT bank. If that was the MP9, that would have been 1,800. So, luckily, well, a blessing in disguise, I would say, because right now they are 8-3 down. EnVyUs.Academy already winning the first half as we go into round number 12 now. Question for Method is, are they going to go for their bread and butter, go for the mid-take, 2 boosted up, Weber lurking towards one portion of the map, and go from there? And actually instead, they're going to be going for the door burst here. 1 player towards A main, 1 player, usually 2 towards A main, 3 towards door. Question is, I think they're going to go for the crisscross smokes towards mid, force the player highway to peek mid, get a rotation away from A, and try go 3 versus 1, but look at the aggression here from the CT side. They're going to be doing the boost. The timing is so perfect right now for Method.
Hadji and Jax. It just depends how this one actually unfolds. Hadji gets an elevated angle, but it's just in the nick of time. He's able to strike from the heightened position, and he does find 2 frags. VKL as well chimes in, taking down Jenko after he was able to battle against that CT side defense. It's all left on Weber and Nilzinho. That duo once again hoping to at least claw something back into the round, but Jax strikes, eliminates Nilzinho, and Weber left trapped on his lonesome.
Back once again, Weber last alive in the 1 versus 4. Lambert missing the shot, but then again he knows exactly where he is. 55 seconds left, he has no utility.
Forced to at least make a last-ditch attempt at this point. Flashbang's out, they attempt to peek into him. Lambert will actually pull it off with the Tech 9 as well. Weber frustrated.
The timing there, that's so unfortunate for Method. If that was 5 seconds beforehand, they would have caught the boost off guard, caught them with their trousers down, and that could have been a double entry towards a 5 versus 3 in their favor, and the site would have been theirs. EnVyUs probably forced to go for a save. Instead, they win with 4 alive, and they're building the bank round after round. 9,000 into Lambert's hands as well. 6,000 across the board for the rest of the players. They can continuously buy for the remaining 3 rounds. Method, at best, they can get 9-3, but they're going to be going for the eco here. Careful up, only onto Stanley. Flaunted of armor, unarmored tees.
VKL, once again, in a good position here. Has the chance to play with. Nilzinho, though, gives the game away as he steps out trying to bait them in, but they just play it smart, force the teams to play into their hands. They will tear their way through. A little bit risky towards the end there, and actually, Weber's able to pull it out. Grabs himself a weapon as well. That's 2 frags back into the favor of Method, but of course, Jackson Hadji, the duo you never want to see when you're on the opposing side.
Stanley now, 1 versus 3. Has Kevlar actually, so if he finds the frag onto Jax, but as I say that, a nice headshot comes through. It's going to be 10-3 right now. EnVyUs.Academy with a 7-round advantage, and you got to remember as well, Jack, this is the map that Method picked. Audacious, risky, bold, and right now it's not in their favor. Especially, you got to remember as well, it's 10-3 right now, and who won the pistol? It was Method with the 1 versus 4 from Weber. This could be an 11-2, a 13-1 right now. Method almost lucky to have 3 rounds as we go into the penultimate round number 14. 5 AKs once again for the Method side. No AWP been bought yet. So,
see Hadji go for the classic play here. Smoke in, take main control, boost yourself up to the elevated angle. Is forced to fall down as the flashbang comes over. Just gets out of there so he can at least live to fight another battle.
Exactly that. So the boost coming in eventually. It's going to be Jenko and Stanley once again. They're going for their bread and butter, what they typically do on their T defaults, sorry. 2 boosted towards mid. These 2 players mid will take control of mid, and then eventually they split a side. So far, we've seen them do this once before. But once they had mid control, they fell back through mid main. They went towards A main, and they grouped up. Simply put, Jack, they can't group up on their T side right now. They have to pinch the sights. 3 towards A main, 3 towards B, and 2 through vent or 2 through highway.
Yeah, have to go for that split and pick style CS and rely on their own individual skill. This is the team you'd want in those sort of scenarios, but EnVyUs' defense has been so on point to the prior rounds, and they are situated in great angles. VKL as well. The backup of Lambert right now as they just wait in. Lambert going to go for the contact play, spots him out. Stanley gets taken down. Meanwhile, towards the B-bomb site over the barn, it's going to be Petty Scale to strike. Will find 1 headshot. Gets out of there, but it's short-lived. On his retreat, Jenko takes him down. Weber also chimes in with a massive opener. Lambert misses the shot. This is where things could get detrimental as Lambert, struggling to find the shots, dives down, taking the fight for some reason. Pulse will pop his head, makes a power play on towards the bomb site as the team EnVyUs is only left with 2 more members. So 3 versus 2 right now. Into the retake we go. EnVyUs.Academy have money to buy up into the final round as well, so they can go for this one. Kits, but no utility for the CT side. Jax, raring to go. Foot is on the pedal as he wants to try and burst his way in, create the opener that gives them a chance to attempt to bring this round back, but Jenko will strike, takes them down. It's all left on Hadji. And no matter the high ground, he will still lose in that scenario. Method working their way back through, but even then, that's still not enough of a buffer.
Exactly that. You mentioned the buffer that they need on their CT side. For me, they needed 9 rounds on their T side. They need to win that CT pistol and have as many rounds to play for as possible heading into the final half. Anyway, we're going to the final round. 10-4 is the scoreline. Orb onto Lambert once again. And finally, we're seeing the Orb in play. But it's not in play from Pulse or Jenko. It's going to be the slower, steadier, more supportive style of Orb coming out of Nilzinho.
Oh, Neil takes the fight as well, but the only thing is Lambert with the superior angle. Actually, no, sorry. Neil takes him down as Lambert was the one playing contact, of course, from that CT side. Neil will take him down. This does give him a nice opener into the round.
But this is the difference in AWPers, right? If this was Jenko or Pulse, they'll be pushing towards B, pushing towards A, peeking towards mid. Instead, Nilzinho is more of that far back, slow, supportive style AWPer where he will hold the angles and use the AWP for map control.
Scale attempting to do some damage, but right now the split and pick style of CS is working massively for them. They're finding the impact frags they need to collect. Already a big deficit on the side of EnVyUs.
Yep. 2-man disadvantage right now for the CT side. 1 minute left on the clock. AWP still into play on the T side, but obviously winning that AWP duel early on into the round means there is a 2-man advantage for Method on this T side. It's going to be VKL soloing towards B, and EnVyUs giving up the A side. Unfortunately for them, they went for the wrist stack towards B, and Method, they read them like a book. They went back towards this A side.
They make their play towards A now. They can go contact as well, it's completely clear. As soon as they get the information that the welcome mat is down, they can run in, get their shoes all over the place. They will take control, burn through a lot of utility though, as they don't have the information that the site is open for them. Haji just waiting for the late round rotate. He actually repositions before Nilzinho can move over. This could be detrimental to him, but if he gets a couple of frags off, that is going to be the most important factor. Strikes in, will be able to find one frag back on towards Stanley. Nade goes out as well as he's trying to do as much damage as humanly possible into the round. He's working his way through like a steam train. VKL will fall though as Weber takes the fight towards him. It's a 2 versus 3 at this point, but the T's get ready to fight back. They will have an uprising as it all falls into the capable hands of Jax, but this time around, he will not be able to do it.
There we go then. Can be 10-5 into the first half here. Method only able to get 5 rounds after winning the pistol. Simply put, is it enough on your CT side? UK teams now notorious for being weak on the CT side and strong on the terrorist side. Then again, though, I wouldn't really say 5 rounds, especially off the back of the pistol, being relatively strong. Method, if they lose the pistol right now, and EnVyUs, they win versus the Force Spy, win versus the Eco, we could easily be seeing a 30-5 scoreline right now. At that point, 8-round advantage, 3 away from closing it out. We've seen how dominant EnVyUs are currently. Yeah, you do have to be expecting EnVyUs to close that one out.
Things with Method as well. They're one of the teams that actually, domestically, even when they have a bad first half, you can't really count them out. They are a team that can bounce back, normally resetting themselves, even though internally it looks like they've taken a very heavy hit off the back of that first half. If they don't have a fantastic game, they normally can reset fairly swiftly, come back into the second half, mentally reset, and really bring their A game. If they're going to be able to do that today against a team like EnVyUs that has been looking very swift, great tenacious defenses on that CT side, they were looking like they had great communication, great setups, it worked out. Always the constant trade game. On their T side, as long as they trade efficiently, that is where they're going to be scary.
Exactly that. In the preface as well, we mentioned the fact that Method, they're slow burners. They start off slow. Generally, it's the second half momentum where they just really kick it into gear. Fire on all cylinders, but right now it's going to be a 3-man stack from the CT side towards this A site and a 5-man potential door burst. They're going to have a smoke towards Highway and a smoke towards the cross from Car as well. This is going to be the door burst coming out from EnVyUs. 3 players onto the A side from Method. They've got a good read here.
How's it actually going to work out, though? It all depends if they can find the frags. Firepower will reign supreme. They do kick it off, but Stanley will take down Haji. Pulse as well comes into play. 2 massive, impactful frags, but Jax retaliates. This is where things get dire, Snods. Left in a 2 versus 2 at this point. The late rotate coming over for Method.
Lambert now able to cross towards the site. 2 players on the side from the T side. No armor though onto Lambert. He has the flashbang. And right now, there's no kit to the CT side. It's Weber and Nilzinho, 2 versus 2. The bomb is down. No kit. Flash comes in the both line.
Oh, Jax as well, allowed to do so much more damage, and he lands the tag. That could have been it then and there. Done straight away. It's back in the hands of Weber. The ball's in his court, like the first pistol round we saw, but surely he cannot do it twice. This should be EnVyUs picking up this pistol round at that point. They have smart positional play, peek together, and Jax will get another frag into the round. That's a 4K. Single-handedly rips his way through.
2 versus 4 there. Stanley trying his best. He finds 3 frags, 1 from the player coming out of door, and then 2 as they try to push in through quad. Lines them both up. Almost a collateral as well. Nevertheless, though, it was the 2 versus 4 Jenko pushes through the smoke. He tries to aid Stanley. The problem was Stanley died. There was potential time where Stanley could have backed off and played the retake 2 versus 3. And if they did that, then, you know, maybe they would have had the second pistol as well in their favor. But instead, this game, Jack, goes 1-1 in favor of pistols, and the scoreline doesn't show it.
VKL here. Once again, trying to make that information play towards the B-bomb site. This is where he needs to really bring his A game, though. Take down Nilzinho early. Nilzinho can be such a nuisance with that CZ, though, especially from the position he's playing in right now. Close up by Lumji with the backup of Pulse. This could be bad.
Could indeed. Spots one player towards CT. Pulse as well, but dinks up the first player. Nilzinho falls 5 versus 4 right now. 1 man advantage for EnVyUs on their T side versus the Force Buy. And for Method right now, if they lose these following rounds, it could spell the end.
Stanley as well, sees in hand, locked and loaded. They actually don't clear it. He's now allowed to get a free frag. Absolutely uncontested at that point, but luckily enough, they will respond so swiftly. They tear their way through the remaining defense that Method have brought to the table. It's all left on Jenko, and he's going to get wiped away like a spilt drink.
Exactly that. 12-5 now. The eco going to be coming out from the CT side. Method, they couldn't lose that CT pistol. It was so crucial for them to win both pistols in this fight. Well, first map of the best of 2, and their step pick as well on Cash. EnVyUs.Academy, 16-0ing Prophecy last week. It's looking like they might just 16-5 Method this one as well. It's a statement to other teams to not pick Cash. Don't try and get too bold and audacious versus us. Their map pool is so wide as well, and right now they're playing versus the Follica. They can build up their cash so heavily, especially with the 3 SMGs they have into play right now. Pedescal with the UMP, and then 2 MAC-10s onto Lambert, who's going to be bringing up the AWP into the next round, and Hanchi as well, the star rifler for this team.
That's the thing as well, the situation they're in right now, if they play their cards right into this round, maximize economy by getting the kills, especially with those MAC-10s and those UMPs, this is where they're going to set themselves up for, even if Method do start to bounce back, consistent, healthy economy for at least another 3 rounds. Give themselves enough to play with where they can constantly get those buys out to instantly respond.
It's not even the buys as well, it's the pressure you do to the other team's economics as well. It's the fact that, yes, if you have a lot of money, you can continuously buy if you lose. Even if you're losing, you might be in 2 versus 2s, 2 versus 1s, for example. And the economic pressure you do throughout those rounds means if you win 1, that's where you reset the opposition, and that's how you get back into the game.
Talking about being in the game right now. Method are trying to claw their way back through. They're fighting tooth and nail to try and claw their way back in. They do a little bit of damage. They find 2 frags into the round, but eventually they will be overpowered by EnVyUs, and they keep the streak going. Not going to let anything slip away. Try and collect all the free rounds they deserve off the back of the pistol.
Big problem there for Method is the fact that all 5 kills, 2 onto Lambert, the AWPer with the MAC-10, 3 kills found onto Hadji, the other player wielding that SMG, which means we just saw a lot of money go into the bank account of EnVyUs. Look at that, nearly 7,000 for Hadji. He's actually going to be bringing the MAC-10 into this round as well. Might as well risk it. You've got an 8-round buffer. You can take risks here. You can throw away rounds potentially. And if they win this one as well, make it 14-5, then money will be so substantial.
Hadji as well, obviously someone that's absolutely naughty. When everyone speaks about these guys, you're looking at that duo, the dynamic of Jax and Hadji, always the explosive characters. They're the ones that are the showstoppers.
Lambert as well has been stepping up. It seems like he has his big games here and there. We see Jenko usually being the full firepower on the Method side. Can he deliver towards heaven?
Pulse perched up in the power play position, but it's not going to work out as they burst their way through. The flashbang allows them to walk in. Just so happy, so carefree at that point, and they do take him down. The trade will come back in as Hadji gets taken down, but here's the true play. Take the short control, sprint your way up the M6, and try and speed in towards that bomb site.
Good flashbang, sprays up 1 player, finds the first right, tries to go for the second, and actually will get it. No, he won't. Weber finds it, but Jack's there, the fast reply. Finds himself 2 kills with the bomb in hand. He will eventually fall and turn this into a 2 versus 1 VKL. Now, no utility into his name. Just going to have the AK. 45 seconds on the clock, has to retrieve the bomb as well towards highway.
So awkward for VKL right now, trapped between a rock and a hard place as he needs to try and get the bomb. The angles are both covered. So many positions he's got to be worrying about as well. Takes the fight towards Jenko. A swift headshot as he snipes him down. Gives him the opportunity. He needs to do the round, but he goes for the jump face. Gets the information, but he's safe.
Exactly that. He knows exactly where Nilzinho is rotating from now as well. Playing towards MBK. Hoping that he comes from highway. No key onto Nilzinho, just to be fast here.
Nilzinho bides his time, hoping that he's going to peek. VKL will make some kind of mistake, allow Method to get a little bit of leeway they need, get the crowbar in and crack the door open, but VKL is having absolutely none of it. He's playing it safe, playing it absolutely stone cold, but Nilzinho will take him out, overpowers him in the firefight, and will get the defuse as well. Down to the wire in all of these rounds.
Exactly that. Even though they've won the round, made it to 13-6, EnVyUs can still buy. Method having one player stay alive in the previous round, that the clutch coming out from EnVyUs means their money will be so low going into this next round. EnVyUs.Academy win this round, make it 14-6. They break the money of Method. That's where the game is really set and done.
It's true. This is where things are going to be shaping up. So important now, the final couple of rounds we're looking at here. EnVyUs, they've already worked their way through. In terms of the benchmark they've got, they're looking absolutely golden. They are so close to closing this one out, whereas Method, these rounds are so important. They have to get this consistent linking together of rounds, especially on that CT half, because of how fragile that economy can be.
So, it's going to be 2 foul messes right now for the CT side. AK picked up from Pulse, dropped over by EnVyUs. Nice guy. And it will be EnVyUs and Jenko on the M4s. Versus them will be 4 AKs and the AWP onto Lambert. So even though Method won the previous round, the better buy is actually in favor of EnVyUs. 1:25 on the clock right now. It's going to be a slow default from EnVyUs. Usually when we see them play, they play slow and steady. They check every single nook and cranny. They don't take chances or risks. They clear out the map. They take control of the map as well. They play very structured Counter-Strike. Seems like none of the UK teams here, even the international teams as well, we saw Prophecy last week, they can't handle.
This is a really good read as well from Method. They had the triple set up towards mid. They do actually lose out right now as the frags are coming in from EnVyUs in absolute bundles. They lose 2 players on the side of Method, but they did take down Jax. It's manageable, but when you lose another man, that's where things start to go south. Stanley went for the information play. He had to do something, but he falls.
He's made the right play there to peek towards A main, but there's no flashbang from Weber. He has one flashbang, it was towards Harvey. If he flashed Stanley into A main, then yeah, that could have been feasible. Instead, though, Weber spots one player towards door. The rotation comes in 2 versus 4.
Pulse and Weber. They actually do here. Oh, Pulse as well, nearly taken down, and he will actually reface into it. Instantly gets executed. Hadje as well going to do the same to the other T that was left standing. This is looking like EnVyUs now back on form. There will be no cash on the side of Method, and that is quite scary.
Yeah, VK, they're absolutely loving it right now. 14-6. They know they've broken the money of Method. It's going to be the force by count for them, probably. Well, most likely. Look at that, 1,400 across the board, and they will buy pistol Kevlar. No SMGs, Jack. No AKs or AWPs as well. It's going to be a very weak buy on the CT side. Utility is scarce as well. No flashbangs. Just going to be 2 smokes, and one of them already used towards mid. No flashbangs mean they can't flash in towards A main, try and catch players off guard. They can't flash towards B main. All they can do is allow the T to set the pace. Right now, VK towards B, spamming through the smoke. Trying to see if you can find a frag towards the boosted players. Pulse trying to spot over the smoke, trying to see what you can find. Luckily for EnVyUs, though, they have fallen back, and the boost doesn't warrant anything.
EnVyUs still going to play it slow and stable. Just hold back, play for the distance. They have a massive range advantage over Method into this round, and they're going to be completely aware of that economical disadvantage that they are at. So there is no reason to get up close and personal where these pistols will be at their best.
Hadji towards door as well. Across the map is going to be 4-1 style of CS coming out from Team EnVyUs. Pulse will find the frag there towards the remaining A players, so that means all 4 of EnVyUs right now caged in towards the B side.
Hadji dying there is huge for Method, as you said, because they completely rotate over right now. They can send backup for EnVyUs. EnVyUs with his classic weapon, but he won't even get a chance to fire off a single round as VKL takes him down. Pulse, luckily enough, will chime in with his dirty deagle. Finds one filthy kill, and he's hungry for more, but it seems unlikely at this point. He's being kept at base, Nods.
Exactly that. Bomb will go down now. No kits for the CT side. They all have Kevlar, though, and a retrieved AK there onto Stanley.
Bomb has been planted.
Can't find another gun. Lambert as well. Snakes walks into his crosshair. Goes for the pre-fire, and actually Jenko will land. It's going to be 3 versus 2 right now.
Just have to try and run in at this point. Use the aggression they have with these pistols. Get into close range, overwhelm the opposition. They know of Lambert's location. They can jump on the bomb at this point. All Jenko has to do is hold for the rotate and take him down. As long as Jenko finds his frag, they pick up the round so easily. Pulse will strike. The defuse is going on as we speak, and they are able to retake that site.
There we go. It's going to be 14-7 now. EnVyUs was still a double, well, compared to Method, they have twice as many rounds. 7 for them as they win a round back. 3 staying alive as well for the CT side. They can retrieve the AWP and the 2 AKs, so the money should be doing fairly well into this forthcoming round. Still, though, very favoured in terms of EnVyUs closing this one at 16-10, 16-9, but nevertheless, it should be an EnVyUs game in terms of the momentum so far. Then again, Method, known as slow burners, they start off slow, usually at deficit. Let's see if Lambert can make it a deficit for Method into this one.
You can see they wanted to go for the early aggression. Stanley going for his standard play in towards main early, but the flashbang did ward him back just long enough that they can now get up close personals to the side. Can have the boost over the smoke as well, but no one is there to be greeted by the barrel of Lambert's AWP.
Yep, Stanley as well towards Forklift. Should have heard the scoping as well. That's probably why we're going to be seeing the rotation come up from Jenko back towards Car. Actually, no, the CT's looking quite confused there towards CT. It's going to be Jenko staying towards mid, and NeilZenia, the UMP, rotating back towards Car. It's going to be 3 players here for the CT site. Stanley finds the first, turns into a 5 versus 4 in favour of Method.
Stanley puts in the groundwork as he will start to whack the weeds that are in his backyard as he finds that opening frag. Hungry for more of those nods. Needs to try and keep it going right now. Let's see EnVyUs being kept at bay. It all depends on when Lambert gets this opening frag with the AWP. He is going to be the catalyst into round, the contact decision maker. That Molotov is huge as well. Forces them out when he misses the opener. The nade has to roll in. They are low. It should blow them out the server, but Weber gets away absolutely scot-free.
He does indeed. 5 versus 4, and now Weber is low HP, standing towards Forklift, throws the molly, but actually gets spotted out by Jack. Good flashbang comes through.
They do push in. Pettyscale will dispatch of the first man. Stanley, the frontline infantry, completely eradicated. VKL as well wants to do one better, so he'll take down Weber, leaving them with just a triple threat on the side of Method. But that triple threat steps up. They tear their way through the EnVyUs side, leaving them with just Pettyscale and Lambert. They're in awkward locations. Lambert can't efficiently get out. He's trying to take the fight, but Pulse have the superior angle. It's all on Pettyscale on the back of the site. Sure, he has the bomb, but he doesn't have much time, and he needs to react right now.
Or holding the ankle, and Pulse will find the frag. It's going to be 40-8 there. 3 versus 4. I thought for a second there. Method, we're going to let it slip after having the man advantage. Lambert finds a frag towards the A site. We saw double entry towards at that point. That could have been it. Instead, though, they pull it back. They win at the 3 versus 2. Now make it 14-8 right now. 6-round difference for these two teams as we go into round number 23. It's going to be the double set up right now for the CT side. Pulse and Weber bringing those one out. Where are they taking those? Pulse going towards B. And then Weber, number 8, towards Car, holding towards MA, and they expect this one to be an eco. That's why they're playing retake towards that site. But as I said, they're standing in a little bit aggressive there towards default. Once the door burst comes in, can they swarm the site and get the first frag onto Stanley? And from there, it's all down to the
Molotov goes out, Stanley gets the info, starts to fall back so they can at least play late round retake, which is the smart decision to make. Don't run the risk of losing the man advantage straight away.
Exactly. Only Kevlar onto Jax as well. 4 unarmored T's towards the A site, and near impossible round for them to win right now.
Bounding through the air right now, showing off their aerobic skill snots.
Exactly that. So, smoke goes in towards MA, and they can molly out Forklift as well. It's all down to the first frag that comes out.
Peaks do come through. Pettyscale will overpower Jenko, but a lot of damage has been done. They're incredibly low, and everyone is getting tagged up even lower at this point, but they're somehow holding on. It's Weber that has to take them out, striking with the AWP, one after another, blow for blow, as they do begin to fall. At this point, the taser actually goes off. Pulse finds a frag. NeilZenia chimes in as well. They need to jump on the bomb shortly, though. Time starts to tick away. They do have the kits to play with, and they get it in the nick of time. A good retake from Method, but a little bit shaky in some places.
There we go. Jenko and NeilZenia smiling on his screens right now. They know that the momentum right now is in their favor. 14-9, 5 rounds now separating these two teams. It might be a strong buy coming out from EnVyUs on their T side. They got the bomb down. They can potentially buy an AWP, full utility, into the next one. Let's see what they bring out into round number 24. It will be a good buy from EnVyUs. 5 AKs for there, but no AWP onto Lambert. Will this change the style of calling? Typically with the AWP, they play map control style, and then they go for the late executes. Without the AWP, are they going to go for a mid play? Are they going to go for an execute to one of the map, or one of the site, sorry? But anyway, versus them will be the double up setup from the CT side. NeilZenia AWPing, actually no, sorry. Pulse AWPing towards checkers. NeilZenia as well towards default B. And already, aggression towards MA will find the first frag. Stanley takes down Lambert. 5 versus 4. They could go for the boost as well. The Shroud boost comes out. Very good positions right now for the CT side on their CT defense. Extremely hard round right now for EnVyUs to win. They have to take control of mid or split one of the sites.
Can be useful for the late round. Oh, Pulse as well. If he would have got that opening frag, could have been important, but the old double zoom will come back to bite him. NeilZenia, luckily enough, is able to stay alive and kick in. He's also screaming as he tears his way through. He gets another frag back on the board, leaving it with just 2 members of the side of EnVyUs. They're trapped in awkward locations. The peaks can come out efficiently. There is no trade potential there for Hadje to get that frag back on towards Neil. So it's also easy for him to just take the fight. Hadje, though, starts to go into a world of his own. Does a little bit of damage, takes down Stanley, hungry for more as he roams around. He wants to run rampant, but it is denied by NeilZenia.
Coach isn't happy there. Shaking his head as the rounds slowly come closer and closer. 14-10 will be your scoreline. Method just in a 4-round deficit now as we go into round number 25. So far, on the EnVyUs side, it seems like first frag goes in favor of Method. They make it a 5 versus 4. And from there, EnVyUs are just forced to funnel in, tunnel together, and they go through the tight choke points. Method just mowing them down one by one as they try and enter to each soul. It's going to be round number 25 now, and the buy, more like a quasi-buy from EnVyUs. 3 sets of Kevlar onto Pettyscale, Lambert, and Hadje. But still, it's going to be the Mac 10 for him as well. 3 Tech-9s and a Deagle. And now the door burst and execute comes towards it.
Weber's gone for the self-boost as well, so the late rotate could come back through. Stanley does damage towards the side, but he only gets 1. Luckily enough, Jenko was there to chime in as well. Takes them down. It just falls to Jack and VKL. They're trying to play together. They're not in great positions here, and the nades are rolling in as well. Jack tagged down low, forced to fall back and just try it and play for trades.
No Kevlar as well, so Jack's maybe baiting for his teammate VKL, but actually no, does lead towards quad. Now pushing towards front red.
Eagle in his hands. VKL does upgrade to that M4. They have some kind of firepower to play with, but all of a sudden the confidence starts to shine through. Method peak together as a unit, as they should, and they overpower them. They take it back, regain control of the site, get the defuse. 11-14 right now, and James's prediction is not looking so ridiculous at this point.
Exactly that. 14-11 now, only 3 rounds behind for Method. And slowly but surely they're closing this one back. Usually when we cast Method, it's their T sides we rave about. But after a very one-sided half, 10-5 was the final scoreline after winning the pistol. They are bringing this one back strong on CT side. Into the spy, it's going to be the double op setup. Once again, usually though, when you see 2 ops on cash, you have 1 towards A, 1 towards B, and you play 3 rifles mid. Actually, as I say that, I believe they will be going for a setup very similar. Pulse opping towards B. Where's that other op? Jenko is opping towards sandbags, towards boost, and then they have Stanley soloing towards their A side. It's going to be a slow default here from EnVyUs as well. They're holding all angles of the map. They're trying to see if one of these CTs will push and get aggressive for information. As currently Method have all the momentum in their favor. They've won multiple rounds in a row now. First frag found by Haji. The Molotov somehow finds a frag onto Nozinho.
Just take him down. One of the first times we have actually seen EnVyUs being able to get that open frag really into this. It's been more so Method actually getting the openers right now. So this could be the difference maker into the late round.
Could be indeed. Right now VKL outside checkers, and if you get the checkers, that could be momentous. Instead though, Jax finds the boost onto Weber. He made the self boost, so they might be expecting another player towards mid, and that could cause for a misread.
Yep, could throw them off at this point if they're not aware of it. Weber obviously going for these more one-and-done style plays. They're very impactful, but you can't do them consistently at this point, so he kind of has given that one away.
So Jenko finds a frag onto Lambert, turns into a 4 versus 3. And the bomb fastly approaching that A site, which they've all rotated off. VKL from behind could make this a 3 versus 2.
Pulse might get punished here. He seems completely unknown that VKL could get close in towards vents. It just depends if he spots it out. He's actually just going to cleanly walk out of there. The timing's so unfortunate as well, as he will get taken down.
There we go, 4 versus 2. Stanley has to go huge towards the A site. VKL finds the frag onto Jenko as well. All down to Stanley towards the A side. Match point here potentially for EnVyUs.
Playing around the smoke, but he needs to get some serious frags off here, and it is not going to happen. EnVyUs spot him out. They play it so slow, so smart, and this is the sort of EnVyUs we are used to see. That slow, standardized style of CS, where it's so clinical, work your way through, clear those angles in effective fashion, and they do bounce back. They get that 15 from the board. Match point is secured. Method have no room for mistakes.
That's the thing though, right? When you play the slow, steady style of CS, you play the defaults. If you find an entry, a first frag, which they did towards middle, they found the entry kill. There's a 5 versus 4 in their favor, and they slowed the round down so much. At that point, all they had to do was group together, play the trade game, and they were going to win by the numbers regardless. So, round number 27 now, 15, and match point for EnVyUs. Method though, they can still take this. If they win this round, reset the money from EnVyUs, win versus the Force Spy, win versus the Eco, try and make it 15-13, 15-14. At that, there's a chance for Method to come back into this one, but they need to win this round. They cannot concede 1, because if they do, EnVyUs take it.
And here's the thing, once again, they've switched up the AWP dynamic. They gave that secondary AWP up towards Jenko, that very aggressive AWP role, as we've been touching on and hinting at, and he tries to go for the early face, gets taken down by Lambert, and this is where it gets bad. EnVyUs have the one-man advantage in their favor. They could seriously lock it down right here, right now, and claim that first map win.
Exactly that. EnVyUs, you can see how slow they're still playing the round. There's 50 seconds left on the clock. They have the one-man advantage. And they're just waiting and waiting for Method to make the mistake. Usually, when you're CT side, when you have this advantage, you have to take a risk. Get information. Try equalize the number 4 versus 4. And Pulse right now holding towards VKL's angle, towards B main. Hoping and praying that he can make it into a 4 versus 4 and give his team a chance.
Pulse, normally such a prolific fragger when it comes to wielding the AWP, but the timing is so critical as the push will actually come in. Forced to fall back, that's so awkward. He could have been the difference maker into the round, but Stanley steps up actually. Times in, Pulse goes big as well. They start to fire back as Pulse begins to do so much damage, tearing it up with the AWP. It's all left on Haji. He gets up close and personal, but Nozinho will deny it, and they keep themselves alive.
You can see Haji, they're not happy with that one. He knows exactly the scenario they're in. Money reset. They're going to have to go for the Force Spy into this round. 15-12. 3 rounds now separating these two teams between us and overtime. So, Reset comes through. They're going to be going for the force bar, use everything they have in their arsenal. And all it is, Jack, is 2 MAC-10s. Tech 9, an AK, and a Deagle. Are they going to go for the fast B play?
What is going to be the decision here? It has to be something snappy. Favor the weapons they have, that drive-by style of CS.
Yep, there are no pulses or ping, alone towards the B-bomb, so they're trying to exploit that and take advantage of it. Jenko, the fast rotation towards Heaven as well, here to aid on backup pulse. The question is, do EnVyUs have the good flashbangs to warden off Jenko's help towards that B-bomb side?
Jenko in his heyday would have an absolute field day with the environment that he has been left in. He loves these sort of situations. Pulse as well, look good momentarily, but can he try and live that once again? Now the smokes go down, it allows him safe passage towards the bomb site, but Jenko spots them out. Unluckily for Pulse, when he drops down, he just gets executed, but Jenko is still running straight through, finding the frags he needs to, but he extends too far.
He does indeed, turns into a 3 versus 3. MAC-10 though, AK and Tech 9. One of the best weapons you want in an after plant. Lambert there towards mid, holding off the CT rotation through Ven. It's all down to a 2 versus 3 towards this B side.
Jack spotted out the backpack in Ilzinho as well. He knows he is close CT, 100% aware of this, hearing all this information as well. The double face is going to come into play. Even though he's only got a MAC-10, from the range he's firing at, it can be such a powerful weapon. They do take him down. They run straight through with a CZ. Pettyscale fires back. Lambert chimes in as well. It's all left in the hands of Ilzinho to try and keep them alive into this matchup. Ilzinho has to do the unthinkable. They drop down. He gets one, but Pettyscale fires back. And they do pick up the first map. Cash goes the way of EnVyUs.
Eventually, they do close that one out from a 14-6 scoreline. It ends up at 16-12. Method right now, their slow starts come back to bite them every single time. We saw it versus Epsilon, we saw it versus Excel, and we've seen it once again week 4 of the Elite Series versus EnVyUs.
So unfortunate for Method, because the structure started to come back. All of the fruits that we were expected to see, the normal standard of play that they used to have, was back in fruition. It looked good, but it wasn't enough. EnVyUs, just an absolute monster here at the Elite Series.
Exactly that. Pistols going 1 for 1, and actually Method picking up the first pistol, only finishing on 5 rounds as well, isn't really the cleanest start you want. For Method, on their T side, you're expecting 9-6 score, and actually if they'd gotten that, we could have easily been seeing a 16-10, a 16-11 going in their favor instead.
Yep, very, very awkward there, but they are going to be picking up that win, so let's go straight back over to Tom and see just what they thought.
Thank you very much. It is half-time in matchup 3, Method versus Team EnVyUs. Team EnVyUs winning that 16-12. We'll have a quick break right now. We'll come back, and then we'll start analysing all over that match here. Match 3 of the Elite Series. You can see EnVyUs were pumped about it. They had a team huddle before the match as they took on Method in map Cash. And I tell you what, some amazing kills. Weber, the top killer, fragger, should I say, for Method. And EnVyUs were led by Haji, who's got 27 kills. The map finished 16-12 to the infamous and pretty dominant EnVyUs. Very, very good. Not as good as they were last week on Cash against Prophecy, where it finished 16-0 against Prophecy. But very good. Method came back into it. They got stronger as it continued. Let's talk about that round 5. There was some lovely work there from EnVyUs when it was 2-2, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think Method had a difficult first 5 or 6 rounds. There was a point where, I think it was round 5, where Method were in post plant on A, and they had 1 more smoke left, and they put it towards the car position to block off this angle, which wasn't really necessary at the time. Often T-side post plant, if they have another smoke, they'll cover this position that's being looked at right now, because it makes it really hard for the CTs to retake the site, and it really helps delay things. And they didn't manage to hold on to the round, but also they had the round afterwards where they needed to cross to the site, and a flash was thrown, but they jumped well before the flash was going off, and then they lost that round as well. So that's just bad for the psyche so early on. And that's before we even get to the pistol round. Weber managed to bring it back with a 4K, and I think you lose that round maybe 90% of the time, but then they lost the force buy immediately afterwards as well. So a really rough start for Method in that match, but they managed to make it close towards the end, but couldn't quite get over the line.
To excuse the pun, the damage had already been done, I guess, from EnVyUs. Some fantastic kills there from both sides. It really was some great play. I mean, Weber finished the top fragger for Method, and then Lambert was firing at one point. Haji was having a great time. Also, you know, V-Kill got some essential kills in the match as well.
Yeah, I showed the VCAL with the AWP just then, that incredible flick shot, which I suppose it was kind of...
It wasn't even in his barrel.
Yeah, it wasn't in the vision at all, and he just flicks off screen, essentially. I think this game came down to a lot of, like, 1vx situations. Like, Method were really unlucky, if I'm honest. Like, 16-12 doesn't really say, like, it's really close, but there was, like, 3 or 4 rounds where it was 1vx situations which could have gone either way, and if it had gone the other way, who knows what would happen.
And I mean, when you see these sort of kills that are happening on the map Cash, when they go into Cobblestone, we're going to be expecting the same. Haji was brilliant. I mean, I think he got an ace in week 1. They're going to be dominant on the next map, which is, of course, Cobblestone. And there's one particular area to focus on for them, which was in Site B, wasn't there? This particular area here.
Yeah, I highlighted this because it's kind of a typical area where teams tend to focus towards. So, for example, EnVy, I believe they send Haji towards B plat, like pretty much every round if possible. He'll try and go towards there, and usually it'll force like the CT side to barrage that area with nades. And obviously that's a lot of utility to throw just to make sure they don't peek out of it right at the start of the round.
Yeah.
So if he gets control of that without any, I suppose, resistance, it could be detrimental to Method's possibilities of winning the game.
Yeah, I mean, that was, let's bear in mind, map 1, Cash, was the map that Method chose. So this one is EnVyUs' expertise. You said they have 4 or 5 maps they're very good at, but I'm expecting a dominant display. Would you expect the same, James?
They seemed a very together team. Again, I think you could see on their faces after some of the rounds that Method were frustrated early on, so they may not have the best mindset going into this match, so that probably goes in EnVy's favour as well. This is their own pick, as you mentioned, so I expect to see a strong performance from them. SEO spoke about their play towards the B plateau. It's harder than it used to be. Now they've added stairs, so you're more exposed up there. But from what I hear, they're still pretty good at it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do.
Okay, prediction from you, SEO, for this map?
I'm thinking again like a 16-8 towards EnVy, really. I think Method do play Cobble quite a lot. I believe they picked it, I think it was week 2 and week 3. And they did well on it, so you know, I'm expecting the same.
And expecting the same, James? I feel bad asking you to do predictions. You don't normally do predictions, but we break the rules here sometimes on Gfinity, the Elite Series. So go on and prediction, please, James.
I'm not going to make a prediction.
Okay, all right, fair enough. We'll leave that one blank, guys. People doing the graphics, leave that one blank. He doesn't want to get involved. But I take that. I think he means EnVyUs. Listen, I'm going to pass over right now to Jackie and Snarge. You expecting another EnVyUs victory here?
Potentially. I mean, obviously, we saw a very commanding start on the first half from EnVyUs, 10-5, I think it was, after losing the pistol. From there, they let it slip a little bit, maybe got a bit audacious after being so confident after having so many rounds won in a row. From there, Method brought back, seems like they got form and warmed up a little bit. Who knows? Maybe they're more ready for Cobblestone.
Okay, well, it'll be a lot of fun in Cobblestone, so I'll leave it with you, gentlemen.
Cheers, mate.
What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, just well, I mean, the thing is...
Sorry.
But it should be exciting. One thing I do remember, though, is James talking about the misplays with the smokes there. I remember when we went to a LAN together, Mirage site, there was a smoke down. He ran straight through the smoke. So I don't know if you can take his opinions on board about smokes.
Anyway, though, this should be a smoking one of that. It's going to be Cobblestone, the last game that we do tonight. Well, obviously the one following off this one, but me and Jack. So it's going to be Cobblestone. Method losing their pick 16-12, or was it 16-13? I think it was 16-12, but losing their pick. And EnVyUs now, they pick Cobblestone. They had a very good win last week versus Prophecy, 16-10. Thing is, though, after the vetoes happened, right, and I saw the players, all the players from Method were so confident with how the veto went. Cash, Cobblestone, 2 very strong maps in the map pool.
Yeah, it's true. And here's the thing, right? On paper, you're looking at these maps, you go, you know what? This is Method's proving ground all the time, especially Cobblestone.
Yeah.
We're talking B site. You know what I'm thinking, Jenko.
Jenko and Pulse towards the B site, a staple of Method's CT play on this map. But nevertheless, they won't be starting on the CT side, and so it's going to be EnVyUs winning the knife, then choosing to start on that CT side. Petersco now the support player from the EnVyUs side buying double flashbang kip, which means he might flash towards B platform and get information for his team. Usually see a smoke and a diffuser. Whenever someone buys 2 flashbangs on the pistol, they know, well, on the CT side, you know they have something in plan.
Someone to watch out for definitely into a map like Cobblestone as well. That CT side for EnVyUs is Haji. He can be unruly. Lambert is the one to kick it off, though, as he will take down Weber with a swift attack.
Exactly. Flash already coming into play. Weber turning for that one, expecting the play, but unfortunately couldn't really find the frag. A woman advantage already for the side of EnVyUs, as here comes the B split.
They push their way through. The flashbang does go over to at least delay the push that's coming in. It's keeping the T's at bay for now. Lambert allowed to just roam around. VKL as well comes in, takes down Stanley. They have a massive deficit into this round. Method are pushing, but so staggered. One by one, they are facing in unfavorable angles at the wrong time. And EnVyUs have a clean sweep to kick it off.
A one-sided pistol there. There's 5 players stay alive for the CT side after the pistol round. So, right then, you saw the kit, double flashbang. You know there's something suspicious there. Something's going to happen. Flashes towards platform. Lambert finds the first frag and has all the information he needs towards the B platform. That's why we saw the rotation leave towards B. They left Peterskull and Lambert towards the B site, and they stacked 3 on A because Lambert saw no one else towards B platform. But luckily for them, Lambert and Peterskull stepped up. Let's see if Hadji can do the same.
Oh, this is risky, but it could be high reward, but it's not going to happen. He gambled, but he does not get the big win. Jenko shuts him down. Nilzinho as well comes in, and they start to get this in the favor of Method.
Peterskull now, fast rotation coming out from him. Has the 2-man disadvantage right now. It's a 2 early frags go in favor of Method. Towards the default site, Peterskull reloading goes down as well. And so does VKL. It's going to be 1 player staying alive. 1 versus 5. It's Jax.
Yeah, you do not want to arm Method as well. They had armor that was pre-bought. They looked ready. They were beefy boys, but they found themselves some baseball bats nods, and that has given them an absolute gang to work with. They've run straight through. They've hit EnVyUs in the head, and they've taken control of the site.
Exactly that. No kit as well. So we'll be saving this one for the next round. 5 players staying alive for the CT side. Can we see their money, please, real quick? Sliggy, just for a second. So no, they are fully reset after this round. They will be forced onto CZs, UMPs and whatnot. It's round number 3.
Oh, Jax actually does take 2 of them down. They didn't have the scavenge weapons on their person, though. They were just Tech-9s that have been tossed asunder, and he is able to get out of there. But this is pretty good. That Famous could be a lifeline to the next round.
Disposable guns dropped there from the T side. Nothing really too crazy. No AK. Ooh, 10 HP for him and was filled to his death there. But nevertheless, it's going to be 1-1 as Method do force it back.
Yep, not going to be too happy into the next round. Pulled his hamstrings. He's going to be limping around the fence.
He will indeed. So, after the force buy is 1 for Method, should be seeing a counter force by 1 for the CT side here, EnVyUs.Academy. We saw them win with pistols in the previous map. It's going to be the MP9 bought again for Hadji. 2 CZ for Lambert and VKL. The shotgun, the pump shotgun coming out from Peterskull towards drop, and then Jax with the FAMAS a save fire round. Versus them will be the 2 SMG setup and a 3. Oh, actually it's an M4 there, so make it 2 AKs, 1 M4. In a sense, 3 rifles, 2 SMGs for the T side right now. Stanley and Weber going to be the key players to stack up as much cash as possible as we go into round number 3. They need to win clean versus the force buy and force an eco to come out from EnVyUs and use that eco round to get as much money as possible.
The thing is, though, Method have a massive range advantage into this round. EnVyUs' weapons aren't going to be that effective from the distance they're currently playing at because Method have just bypassed them. They've taken the rough road straight through mid.
They have indeed. And actually, it's going to be the retake coming up from the CT side. They have no kits, lack of utility, near impossible round for them to win, especially after the first frag goes in favor of Method.
Yep, Stanley takes down Lambert in Mortal Kombat, and they're hungry for more as well. Hadji will be able to strike and find 1, but Weber will, of course, swiftly trade it back as he swimmingly takes the fight. Jenko chimes in to take down Jax. It's on Peterskull and VKL, and it seems like they have decided, hold on to the Famous, back out of there. VKL has got armor CZ. What is the point in throwing these away for free?
Exactly that. You can drop over the FAMAS to VKL into the next round, your eco round, because he has Kevlar. But as you just said it there, it's going to be the force round lost for EnVyUs. And our Method will finally have an advantage into this one as they go 2-2-1 up. And they will be playing and Granted versus the eco round coming up from EnVyUs.
Thing is, though, a Method's eco round just going to be a freak of nature, or will they actually have some kind of method into their following rounds that will allow them to keep it going?
Potentially. I mean, it really does depend what you want to do. You usually see fast plays on the anti-ecos on Cobblestone. Rushes through mid, you smoke off Matrix, you flash in through mid, you run up through that mid ramp and you find frags towards the A side. Exactly what they did in the previous round as well versus the force buy. The same works versus an eco. In a sense, you rush mid, you have the long range duels from mid towards default, towards APC, towards under balcony, and you have the range advantage, and that's how you take the round. So, 2-1 right now, as Method finally have advantage into this best of 2. It's going to be the pistols and the eco coming up from Team EnVyUs, and as I said before, VKO has dropped the FAMAS as he has Kevlar, and actually no, drops it back to Jax, so fairly strange play there. Jax will go towards that B side as well, so it's not as if he's going to have the headshot angle. Obviously, if you are playing a headshot angle, you only expose your head, so not having Kevlar doesn't really make too much of a difference into the round.
Method right now, taking that slow approach once again. They're in pretty good standing so far into this. Obviously, EnVyUs is basically the same scenario, so rinse and repeat of what we saw into the previous round. They get safe passage up through mid. The only difference factor is the smokes are being utilized this time. EnVyUs actually had a bit more investment in terms of utility, so a big delay has come out.
Exactly that. Still though, It's going to be the mid play coming up from Method. You got one player there, Weber lurking towards that outside drop. Spots the first player, finds the second as well. NeoZenia finds 2 frags for his team and turns it into a 5 versus 3.
VKL's position could actually be a massive nuisance if it's not cleared carefully. Stanley, luckily enough, will take the good stance. He clears it smartly, but he will be overpowered. Pulse finds the headshot. They now have to react off the back of this as well. Sprinting towards the bomb site. It's Jax and Petty Scale here, just trying to do as much damage as possible against the T's, but the elevated angle means nothing when you're up against Pulse.
So, 3-1 is the scoreline now as another buy will come in. So far, we haven't actually seen a 4-buy versus a 4-buy into this cobblestone map. We've seen 4 spies galore go back and forth. Weber right now laying down the law, saying, look, one player.
Odds.
Yeah, there you go.
I
One
think
word.
Jaws.
One word.
Movie.
Yeah, there you go.
Jaws. Shark.
Yeah, nice and easy one to do. Anyway, though, he's going to be saying one lurk player. And who will be that lurk player? Will it be him towards the B side of the map? Or will it be someone else towards A? And actually, it will be that one lurk player, Jenko, holding from behind. Apart from that, they're going to take control of B platform. Jax here close towards that smoke. First frag nearly going in favor of the Method side.
Oh, you would have thought that would have done it as well. The slam dunk from Pulse, but unfortunately he misses. It doesn't hit the net, and it just rolls off into the crowd.
Exactly that. So, 4 players from the Method side now slowly grouping in towards mid. Petascale low HP towards drop area. And right now it's down to Haji once again. Close proximity, but is alone. And quickly is Lambert on the retreat.
This time around, Haji's arm to the teeth as well. M4 has been donned by the man. He knows how to wield it. That's a hat trick as he just... brutality. Finds these frags, works his way through so swiftly, leaving them with a massive deficit on the side of Method. Lambert as well chimes in as he takes down Jenko. It's all left on Weber. He's out of position. He has recovered the bomb snots, but all he has is a UMP to his name.
Exactly that. No utility as well, just Kevlar helmet and a UMP in a dream. 1 versus 5. The best case scenario for him is to try and take 1 or 2 guns out of the CT economy. That's what? $5,000 worth of investment gone instantly if you can find those kills. Plus, here's the SMG, so it's $1,200 into his bank account. So, Petascale low towards the window. Here's the drop, and Jax will find that frag. 5 players staying alive after the first buy round, which means their money is now building.
Building up, they're getting themselves into a manageable spot to at least try and do some damage here. Look at this though, the Haji play that was just huge. Such a powerful position when he can find such swift headshots. He was the difference maker. Every time we've seen them play on Cobblestone, Haji is such an impactful factor.
What's the thing as well is typically on that A site you do group together, right? You'll usually see Lambert, the Orpa, and Petascale playing together. Instead, Lambert was holding Matrix and Haji was alone towards A long, and still 1 versus 3. Found all 3 kills and puts us into round number 6. EnVyUs 5 alive in the previous round, which means Method, even if they take this one, make it 4-2. EnVyUs can still buy up into round number 7. Anyway though, bomb. Outside drop. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. It's going to be NeoZenia lurking towards the A site. Haji now playing, oh actually it's Lambert, sorry, playing the aggressive angle towards long. Slowly but surely they'll be falling back. VKLs came to join them as well. It's going to be a 3-man stack towards the A site. As I say that though, Pulse finds the first. 5 versus 4. A fast rotate now from VKL towards drop.
Flashes are going to come out right now. Just tapping off a few pot shots here and there, making their presence known. On the seeds of doubt in the mind of EnVyUs. They have the 1-man advantage and they've got drop-down control here. The split play towards the site needs to be perfect. It has to go off without the hitch.
Exactly that. Flash in VK's hand. Flashes towards platform. Petascale takes his peek, spots Pulse, but doesn't see the bomb just yet, so we won't be seeing an over-rotation coming up from the CT side. Haji alone towards A. NeoZenia could be lurking through mid as well. Could cause... oh no, he's gone back towards the bomb. He's going to retrieve the bomb, bring it back towards the B site, and they're going to be splitting towards B.
They just have to try and burst their way through, playing contact rather than using the utility they have. They flash over once, then charge their way through. They're getting the opening frags though. They take the advantage. 2 men left on the CT side. Make that one. It's all on Haji. We've hyped him up, but all of a sudden he's left in a situation, dropped into the ocean with no life ring at all, and he's sinking.
Exactly that. Doesn't want to drink the water as well. It's full of salt. And right now the comms might be as well, thinking how on earth have we let that one slip as it goes to 4-2. Method taking round number 6. So, right now, EnVyUs, they still have money to buy up into the next one. I think. Can we see the money again, please, Sliggy, real quick? 2,200 plus 1 point. Yeah, okay, so they can still buy up into this one just about. I mean, they're going to have about 3,600, so it's so important right now that Haji saves this, because if he saves this, he can drop over another M4, and that could cause for a 3 M4 buy. But we'll find out.
Just doing some vandalism right now.
Exactly
Breaks
that.
the glass. Who's going to pay for that?
This is going to put that one on the bill.
On the invoice?
On tab. On the invoice, yeah. 29 days. Anyway, NeoZenia chuckling away as it goes into round number 7. So, what is the buy going to be like on the EnVyUs side? Are they going to force back into this one and try to break the money from Method? They've had bomb plants in both rounds, which means the money should be decent. Jenko on your screen, the recent re-addition to Method. Obviously, he was in the team before. Then he got kicked, and then he joined back. Anyway, let's get the 5 AK run out from Method. No AWP into play onto NewZenio so far. Instead, they're talking about AWPs. It's going to be in Lambert's hands as he peeks towards mid.
We'll try and go for the information play early, but the flashbang keeps him at bay, and he actually can't retreat as well. Struggling there, but eventually does get out.
So, the buy coming up from EnVyUs right now is the Mag 7 onto Petisco, UMP onto VKL, 2 rifles as well onto Hachi, and Jackson the AWP onto Lambert once again. The utility is fairly strong onto 2 of the players, then again the Lambert just has the AWP and Kevlar, VKL on just a flashbang. So, longer this round goes on, Method will slowly, slightly have the advantage on utility.
Molotov starting to rain through the air right now, forcing the CTs out of their effective angles. Petisco, though, if he plays his cards right here, works his way back through window into late round with the Mag 7, could be a massive thorn in their side.
Exactly. Timing in favor of Pulse there. Was thinking about peek towards the platform. Spots his shoulder and actually finds the first frag for his team. 5 versus 4 right now. EnVyUs, whenever they have the advantage, it seems like they always close it out. And right now, Jax retaking drop could make it even bigger.
Is he going to be able to pick up a juicy frag here, or Stanley stunt the growth of their round? And actually, he does fall. Jax does damage. Lambert chimes in as well as he takes down Jenko. Weber and NewZenio are hoping to at least do something, but even that is not manageable. Jax finds another headshot. NewZenio is left. Can the in-game leader himself start to lead by example? It seems like no, it's going to be the answer.
So, once again, it's going to be 5 players staying alive for the CT side. The money keeps building round after round. Seems like whenever you give EnVyUs.Academy the advantage, they take an arm and a leg from that. They're so good at slowing the round down. They play off of the advantage. You saw what happened there, right? Even though Jax was retaking control of drop, Petisco was with them as well. They play the trade game. Even if Stanley found that first kill towards Electric, Petisco would have came behind him and found another frag as well. They always play the trade game. They're always together. The spacing is so tight. They don't allow themselves to give up the advantage when they have it. And it seems like every single round they have the one-man kill or the entry frag on their favor from be it Lambert's AWP or Jack's aggression or Hachi's aggression. They always seem to close it out swillingly. So, round number 8 now. It's going to be the Tech 9 onto 2 of the T players, UMP onto Weber, and then 2 AKs to fill out the rest of the buy. What can they really do in this scenario?
Jump face towards mid, and they actually do get in unscathed at this point. Jack spots it out, but the only thing he can do is drop the smoke to attempt to burn time if they're going to go for a late round mid push and fall back and stay alive.
Exactly that. 3 players rotating into the CT side towards the A side. Good call from them, as they're currently versus and right up against 4 of the Method side. Jenko towards mid. Might get good timing in towards Jax in case one of these players dies towards A long.
Flashbang goes down here, VKL goes for the wide face, but they play it right. NewZenio peeks out, not only does he get away with 1 kill, he doubles it up as well as he starts to do absolute damage. Jenko also comes into effect. It's just left on Petisco and Lambert, and this has got to be the save.
Yep, Team EnVyUs right now throwing in the towel, 5 versus 2. They have the AWP onto Lambert, and they will have money to buy up into the next round, round number 9. So they're going to cut their losses, allow Method to get to 5. So far so good for Method on Cobblestone. They lose the pistol. They win the force buy, they make it 1-1. Then we saw the force buy 1 for EnVyUs. And then again for Method, it was 2-2. And once the buy rounds have come out now, Method have taken 3 in a row potentially, putting themselves onto 5.
Petisco and Lambert hoping to get out of this one with their weapons intact. But you can see the T's are actually hunting them. Not really going to overextend and risk it, but they were actively searching. Yeah,
I mean, Weber right now with the UMP, he can hunt. Obviously, if you die, give away an ump. Not really the end of the world for your economy. But then again, right, speaking of economy, how is their buy going to look? They're going to get 1.4k, so they will be able to buy up into this one. 5,000 on, so they can drop 1 M4. Oh, luckily for them, Petisco has 3,100 on the dot, so he can drop over an M4 barely. But he won't be able to buy up any mates.
That lack of utility as well is going to be such an impactful factor, because you need those smokes to just burn through so much time to actually keep the T's at bay. If you don't have those smokes to play with, that is where you're going to start to...
The smokes are really important as well towards the platform. You want to have a string of smokes. The longer you smoke the platform, the longer you have control of that portion of the map, it's so easy to hold off an execute. If you're there towards cubby, towards stairs, it makes it so much harder for the T's to push out once they do execute. But anyway, speaking of playing aggressive, Lambert peeks from crack towards back of B plan. Doesn't spot anyone just yet. And right now the bomb is outside drop. It's going to be another default coming out from the T side. Jenko spotting, see if anyone will push through the, well, push B plat basically, and Lambert is doing just that. Smokes out the back of it. Smokes off the back of it, sorry. And now, because he has control of B platform alone, you're going to see a rotation come out from Jax. You can see him already retreating back from Electric, from that B site, coming back to join the rest of his team towards the A site. It's going to be a 3-man stack here towards A from Team EnVyUs. Could be a good read.
Flashbang starts to come out. Molotov's in play as well, so they can clear these angles. Very slow, methodical approach coming out from Method here, as they will go for this late round play. Still clearing their angles and trying to decide what they actually do want to bring to the table here.
Exactly that. Lambert has complete control of B platform right now. If Method don't flash off the angle, they could be seeing themselves with a one-man disadvantage. Drop being taken as well by Peterskel, has the shotgun, so Jenko might be meeting his doom.
They do force Lambert out of position, have to fall back towards Coop at this point, and they are going to go for this burst down, try and take control of that A-bomb site with the split push through, but they need to recover the bomb as well, so it is going to be staggered. Pettyscale gets information, but the majority of this round relies on Jax doing work, which he will strike, finds one kill, but the instant trade comes back in. VKL, meanwhile, takes down Pulse as well. Jenko, they should be aware of him just quickly sprinting off. Pettyscale knows what is occurring, but can't quite react. Left in a free versus 2. Jenko goes huge. That kill into VKL is vital, but they need to get the bomb plant now.
I think they're going to get it. They will indeed. 1.5 seconds left. They'll get the bomb down, and it's 2 versus 2. CT's towards balcony now, has to be fast.
Yep, they have to try and react instantaneously. Jenko finds that frag. It's all left on Lambert. Or he has to use it like a shotgun, and he knows how to do so. Takes down Jenko, left in the 1 versus 1. Nilzinho trying to stay alive. Crab walks round, but he finds the kill. We'll get the defuse to boot. And EnVyUs come up huge in the clutch.
Exactly that. Huge play there from Lambert, and a huge round to win as well. They invest everything they had into that round. If they'd lost that 6-3 in favor of Method, an eco coming out from EnVyUs, that could have been a 7-3 scoreline, but instead the 1 versus 2 comes out from Lambert, uses the AWP like a shotgun, and that grants them round number 4, and this game becomes ever so closer. So, going to be going into round number 10 now. Method winning continuous rounds in a row means their money should be in a stable position, but saying that you never know. But yeah, 3,000 onto Weber still, 2,000 onto Nilzinho and Jenko, so they can even bump into the next one if it does go 5-5. But nevertheless, though, it's going to be 5 AKs for the T-side onto Method, and it's going to be once again Peterskel bringing up the Mag 7, AWP onto Lambert, and rifles, including a FAMAS, finishing off the rest of the buy from Team EnVyUs. So, Lambert again, money doesn't quite go deep enough, will have control of B platform, which is so pivotal for your CT defense. If you have control of platform with the AWP, it means you can rotate that, well, from in this scenario, you can rotate 2 players, VKL and Jax. You can see them already stomping back towards the A site. There's going to be a 3-man stack again onto A from Team EnVyUs, and that could be a deciding factor.
Are starting to roll through at this point, transferring small amounts of splash damage to all the EnVyUs players. They are staggered ever so slightly, forced to fall back and link together. They have a good setup though towards that A-bomb site. Crossfires can be put in play at this point as well, as the smokes are down, giving them time to calibrate themselves.
Exactly that. So, T's have control of long. They can send their smokes away, and they're going to be smoking off connector. And now Haji here, close towards A long. Flash comes in. Actually, it's a good re-smoke. 45 seconds left on the clock, and Jax finds the first 5 versus 4.
They have to push straight through and try and run the risk. Haji gets one, but the trade comes back into effect. But Jax, he was always there as the lifeline, the net below him to catch anyone that tries to fall through the cracks. And he will do the damage he needed to do. It's all left on Nilzinho. 30 seconds left to play, but he needs to find these kills, and he's being overwhelmed at this point. They start to push in, finds the headshot, but the response is there. Pettyscale with the Mag 7 shoots him into next year.
Exactly that. This round, equalising the scoreline 5-5. The question right now for Method is, do you force into this one with the money you have left over? You can have 3 AKs, I believe. Or do you save this one, go for a Tech 9 armor buy, allow EnVyUs.Academy to have the advantage? No. Method right now, they want to go all guns blazing. It will be the 3 AK buy, the 2 Tech 9s as well to finish off the buy. That's going to be the MP9 from Haji. So Haji right now, he expects an eco coming up from Method. He thought, as I did, Method were going to go for a quasi buy, an eco round, concede this one, and have a full buy with AWPs and full utility into round number 12. Instead though, the force buy comes out from Method, and that could be catching in this regard.
Lots of utility being burnt through early from Method here. They don't have too much left in their reserves either, so it's a huge investment into the round. And Pettyscale, up close and personal like this in close range combat, it's going to be so annoying with a Mag 7, but he didn't get the headshot, just the tag off. It staggers Weber, sure, but it's not quite a frag, and him going down is going to be very impactful into this late round.
Exactly that. Smoke goes out towards platform. Jax towards Electric. It's flashed off the angle. Lambert with just an AWP as well towards window. The worst gun possible to have in that scenario. He will fall back, but Jax falls in.
Jax tries to go for the play. Should be an easy dink on Stanley, but he's struggling. The choke is on display right now, and Weber overpowers him.
Does indeed. VKL now towards stairs, has to go huge if they want a chance to win this one.
VKL needs to strike. He was hunkered down like a sentry gun, but he was inaccurate. He couldn't find the frag nods. Hadji, once again, is the last man left standing, the lone wolf, miles out of position.
Exactly that. Low HP onto Weber and Stanley, but nevertheless, it will be 5 players staying alive right now for Method as Hadji does save. This means money for the Method side should start to build now, having 5 alive. For the CT side, there you can see 2,200 to Lambert. So if they go for the force buy into round number 12, how much money does Hadji have actually? He has 0, so he can jump over a UMP, I guess. But even then, you're going to be seeing a FAMAS onto Lambert, MP9 on Hadji, UMP as well onto another player, and then 2 pistols to fill out the rest of the buy. So the money is awful right now in the camp of Team EnVyUs. As we go into round number 12, have to go for the audacious force buy. It pays off, and now from having the 2 Tech 9s, they pick up 2 AKs, and Weber retrieving the AWP means they won't have to invest into buying that up into this round.
It'll be interesting to see who they actually opt to give free reign with the AWP as well. Obviously, one of the big staples of Method is the fact that everyone can wield the weapon to an exceptionally high level, but they all have different aspects in how they do it.
Depends on the map. I mean, Mirage, we see Weber AWP. Usually it's Jenko or Pulse because they play more aggressive with it, but actually in this scenario we saw on Cash, Nilzinho playing that supportive style AWP, holding the angles for the pushes. And right now, it's looking like he's doing the same. Nilzinho, the AWPer, into this round. Playing passive towards late, is holding for a push towards long and a push towards middle. But unfortunately for him, no one will greet his AWP scope just yet.
Holding their ground for the meantime. Once again, it's this heavy early game where they just try and burn through whatever defenses EnVyUs have, get the early tags off and burn through utility they have, so they can't really effectively delay you into late round. Only 1 smoke left on EnVyUs already. It is just the smoke on Jax.
Exactly that. No Kevlar onto Petascal with the Mag 7. Has to go all for nothing with the first shot from his shotgun. VKL then spots out a few players. Molotov comes in for Jack. They will extinguish that with the smoke. He tries to get away.
Does try and back off, but he gets caught off guard. They play it smart and they're able to knock him out of the air. VKL as well, just hiding here as he's trying to pick out the right time with the Eagle, but his teammates are doing work right now. He finds a headshot as well. VKL could be the lifeline that they need if he plays his cards right. They do have the angle, but he lands the tag.
Ooh.
Oh, that could have been brutal, but Nilzinho able to fight through it, stays alive, complete control of the bomb site. Hadji, he's always the last-ditch attempt into the round, but what can he do?
Exactly that. Deja vu into round number 12, as it's just going to be Hadji last alive with the MP9. Has a flashbang, could save that. It's going to be the full eco coming out from this anyway after this one. And instead, he will eventually go down. So, you can see, typically, we see EnVyUs chirpy, happy, exhilarated, but here, they're looking fairly lifeless. I think the only poor body language I've seen was Hadji when he shook his head after it was like a, 14-10 scoreline, but they had the advantage. How is this EnVyUs side going to deal with defeat, right? They've won every single game. They haven't lost a map yet in the Elite Series. Once they start to lose one, will that cause friction in the team? Will that cause cracks and crevices to suddenly appear? And the question really is, how can they move on from defeat? Well, let's see if they're going to find it into this map. Who knows?
It's going to be a great question. I mean, right now, Method currently beating the normal average of how many rounds people have gotten off this team, making them look almost human as they try and get these entries. Jenko takes down Jax. Petascal can retaliate, of course, but Stanley has got a lot of firepower inside of him. He's a very explosive fragger when he starts to get into his own game, but can he find these kills here? Struggling to dispatch these pistols right now. Even though EnVyUs had an incredibly weak buy, just working with measly sidearms, they're still doing damage.
Nilzinho now 22 HP, 1 shot, 1 headshot from any of these USPs will take him down in 1 bullet. Holding the cross now. Hadji, if he exits connected towards Rocky, should go down.
Nilzinho, locked and loaded, just waiting to unleash hell.
Same goes for EnVyUs though. They're waiting for the cross towards site. They're holding it. They know the T's haven't planted just yet. Flashbang comes out from Weber. This could be the cause now to rotate onto the site and try to get the bomb down.
Weber, he will snipe down Hadji. It's all left on Petascal. P2000 to his name and a dream, hoping for the absolute best into the round, but surely they do smack him down, and it will be Nilzinho to fire off the round, takes him down. Did switch out to the AK, I imagine he is going to grab his AWP back as well, so he's still got that.
Obviously, he knows he's playing versus the eco of EnVyUs, sorry. He knows they have no Kevlar, so the aim punch would be so prevalent if he landed 1 bullet. That's why he swapped out from the AWP. And obviously one thing as well is he didn't want to give the AWP away in case he did die. So, penultimate round now on Cobblestone. Round number 14, 5-8 is the scoreline. Method now finally have the advantage into these games. Could be the AWP onto Lambert once again. 4 M4s actually to fill out the rest of the buy. Hadji now once again playing the same angle close towards A long in the cubby.
Pushing it up a little bit though on the angle he's playing. Does go for the pre-fire. That just gives the game away. Unfortunately, it's not going to be our usual friendly neighborhood Hadji. Instead, it all goes wrong.
It does indeed. Pulls the trigger too early. The shadow scaring him a little bit. The jitters are starting to show. The pressure is mounting right now for the side of EnVyUs. They haven't lost the game yet. A map at that. And the fast rotate comes in. 3 players towards the site, no one towards B. It's going to be a 5 versus 4 retake towards the B bomb site.
This is the thing. The strongest half anyone's had against EnVyUs in the league so far is currently being displayed by Method, and they are still furthering their lead. Weber finds the headshot towards Jax. Nilzinho as well, says Peekaboo as he takes down Lambert. It's just VK on Pixscale left.
Yep. EnVyUs right now cutting their losses. They're going to go save into the final round number 15, as it does go 9-5 right now in favor of Method. After losing the pistol, it's a complete stark contrast to what we saw on Cash. Weber won the 1 versus 4, he won the pistol for Method, and the final score was 10-5 in favor of Team EnVyUs. Right now we're seeing EnVyUs winning the pistol on 5 rounds, Method getting to 9, and right now they're in the running to make this 10-5, and if they do, we saw exactly what happened on Cash. EnVyUs finished and closed out the map. Can Method do the same?
Oh, they might actually spot them out as well. Stanley could find these kills here. Unfortunately, the angle is going to favor VKL. He peeks into him and gets taken down. Actually find 2 kills as well here, so not going to be that important. The T's obviously an abundance of cash, but they're not bothered. They just wanted to try and delay EnVyUs and stunt their growth of their economy, stop them from having any weapons into what is going to be the deciding round of this first half.
A 1-1 would be so huge right now for Method as well, right? You've got to take this into account. Currently, so far in the Elite Series, they've lost 2-0 to Method last week. Week prior to that, they went 1-1 versus Epsilon, so they're on 1 point. First week of the Elite Series, they went 1-1 versus Excel, so currently sitting at 2 points towards the bottom end of the scoreboard of the standings. They need to have the draw here as a bare minimum. They cannot lose 0-2 to EnVyUs, otherwise that could spell the end for themselves in the Elite Series.
Let's go here. We'll get the opener, takes down Stanley, so at least that is going to be quite an impactful frag early. Stanley, of course, always running rampant into these rounds, but the A site is completely open. They're playing that retake style. They have given away so much time here, so the bomb goes down in a matter of seconds.
Exactly that. The A site is notorious for being the hardest site to retake, and right now the bomb goes down towards A. Weber going to be hearing Hadji falling off towards boost, towards drop, sorry, and he could get a good flank in here. Jenko finds a frag and makes it 4-4, and a very difficult retake on the cards right now for EnVyUs.
We're talking about backstabs though. Jax is also one to keep your eyes on, but actually Nilzinho does exactly that, spots him out, and how this is when Weber is going to be so important to the round. Does give himself away, but he's still able to find the frags. Sprays onto VKL, Pixscale follows suit. Everyone is falling right now. The boys in blue cannot stay alive. They are going to go down. Method get 10 rounds on the board on their T half as they are looking good, working their way through absolutely swimmingly.
You can see why that site is so hard to retake. You saw Jenko there towards tree, just opposite of wood, towards A long. You can crossfire, have a perfect crossfire of the player on site. You then have a player towards mid Nilzinho of the AWP. He finds the frag on Jax coming from behind. He can instantly then peek towards connector, towards the hobbit hole or mini. And right there's just too many angles where the CTs have to push into a held or crossfire angle from the Ts.
I love the calls on A site, Cobble.
Yeah, it is a bit ridiculous. I do feel quite stupid saying tree, wood.
1 wood.
Yeah, 1 wood, 2 wood.
Good old wood.
1 hobbit hole as well. Hobbit. Jesus.
Some good names there, mate.
It's a major champion now, though, of course, so you can't really be saying too much there. But in this pistol, they could just close this one out hard and fast with a 13-5 scoreline. Then again, it will be EnVyUs on their T side. If EnVyUs get the bomb down, get that cash injection, even if they lose the round, make it 11-5. Eco that round, make it 12-5. Have the strong buys come out there. There's a chance, but we saw the first pistol go in favor of EnVyUs. On Cash, the pistols went 1-1. On Cobblestone, will it be the same? It's going to be the 4 M4 setup there from the T's. Doesn't make sense. Forces to Kevlar from Team EnVyUs, and then utility, double flashbang and a smoke onto Lambert, and Nilzinho buying an HE and kit. So no smoke grenade. They can't go for the smoke defuse versus the Glocks. They're going to be going towards the Beast bomb site. It's looking like a fast B split here, Jack.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this actually comes to fruition here. The nade has already been dispatched, no damage done. So unfortunately, that short fuse doesn't actually help them.
Exactly that. No frags found towards the A site means that Method CT defense towards A will not budge, and they're going to be ready. But as I say that, Petisco finds the first. We're into a 5 versus 4, and Stanley's dinked up.
That's created a massive rift in the team as well. They absolutely obliterate the mid area of the map. They can storm their way through Connect to take control of A site without anyone batting an eyelid. Weber will actually come down a ton of bricks on top of Haji as he does find the headshot as they get left in a 4 versus 4. But still, this retake is so incredibly hard. They need to be at the best of their ability, and they are taking tags all over the place.
2 dinked up players. We'll make it 1 now as Pulse does full. Kits drop towards Connector as well, so they can't salvage that one. They have to go for the 10-second defuse.
Indeed, just gonna have to run the risk and hope for the best in this scenario. But VKL will come into fold. Skell as well takes down Stanley. It's all left on Weber. He has been known for his clutches, but even this is way too far-fetched. They're actually trying to go for the knife into that as well. They take them down. Opening pistol on the board. This is good. 6 rounds now secured. We're looking at them starting to work their way through, get themselves to 8 rounds, and try and play the real game from there.
Exactly that. The real game obviously being the buy rounds. The rounds that determine victories and losses. So, 6 to 10, pistols go 1 to 1. Actually, no, EnVyUs taking both pistols. The scoreline really doesn't do it justice, right? You see 5 rounds on the board, you think Method have won the pistol, they won the first bar, and they had the advantage, but no. They lost the pistol. They ecoed or forced bought and won versus EnVyUs when EnVyUs were on the CT side, but now they're on the T side. They win the pistol, the second one at that. Scout coming out from Weber. CZ onto Stanley and Nilzini. PT50 onto Jenko. Pulse with the Deagle. So Kevlar only onto Jenko. Method realize right now they have a 4-round advantage, right? Why would you force this one? You don't need the rounds. You need the utility and firepower into the first buy round.
Talking about firepower as well, Pulse will pop off as he dispatches Petisco there. There's a nice little opener, gives them something to work with.
So 5 versus 4 right now in favour of Method. They have no Kevlar though, unfortunately, into this round. Maybe if they force bot, there could be a chance, but you still have to favour the EnVyUs side. They have the SMGs, they have the utility. You can see 0 grenades right now on that CT side.
That's the thing as well. Those SMGs in close range like this, he might be able to tear his way through both of the defense in a matter of measly seconds. Glides through the air as well, as he is going to swing in like Spider-Man, but they do take him down eventually.
So, it's going to be the B split. The bomb being retrieved right now by Jax. Tag lands. Flick doesn't though.
He gets the tags off, but VKL will spot his head out and pop it straight away. Jenko now left in a 1 versus 3. P250. If he was able to get himself into an effective range and actually get the tags off, it might have been manageable. He will find that kill back in towards Haji. Tries to get the Mac 10 as well. Jenko, he can go for this. He's only got the armor. He might as well invest all his chips and hope for the best.
So, trying to go for the spray down with the Mac 10, not really the best idea because, yes, you will get $600 for the frag, but obviously 8 bullets to the chest versus the 4 of the AK. Basically, have a 50, well, not even that, 25% chance to win that, but anyway. It's going to be the force round lost by Method. Well, I say force round, only 1 player buying armor, which means you can see there 2,100, 2,500 as their average across the board on the CT side, which means they will be able to buy up M4, Kevlar, and extra utility. This is the reason why teams go for the double eco after losing the pistol. It means they can have the full utility into the first buy round, round number 19. So this is going to be the eco round coming out from Method, a round where EnVyUs have to stack as much cash as possible, have 4 or 5 stay alive, pick up all the frags with the Mac 10s, and have money going into the buy rounds.
Lambert peeks out, has the Mac 10 to play with, will realise the location of the Method players, but he gets dinked down actually, he's forced to fall back as well. As they try and push him, want to capitalise off the back of the early damage they've done. They heard that sound cue, but Haji was ready to respond.
He was indeed. So once again, we see a 1-man advantage for EnVyUs. Lambert dinked up, has the Mac 10, so it's not really the end of the world for him. Haji as well with that SMG trying to see the finals in the frag. And he does just that. 5 versus 3. So far, so good for the side of EnVyUs. And look at that. Frags being found for the SMG, exactly what you want. 3 kills with the Mac 10, that's $1,800 into his bank account.
So easy for them. Zinio and Jenko, the only 2 men left standing, and they are falling as fast as possible. VKL will come in, finds the opening headshot, and it's just left on Jenko. Out in the sky, of course, is going to be Jax as well. He spots him out. They have secured all those 3 rounds, essentially, off the back of their pistol now.
Exactly that. 10-5 with the scoreline now, as EnVyUs have won both pistols into this final map here. Question is, if they have an SMG salvage, do they bring it into the next round, round number 19? So, Nilzini there on your screens. Given the calls as to what to do on their CT side, who's going to be playing the AA setup? It's going to be Jenko and Dun dun dun, no one else. So it's going to be a solo play towards A. They expect a fast rush towards the B bomb site. And it's looking like EnVyUs is setting up the smokes to come in to rain towards the B bomb site. It's going to be the rush towards B. A good read here from Method.
Sprinting their way through, they're going to burst out as fast as can straight away as they glide on towards the site. But Stanley gets the opening frag, takes down Jax. They also get an early dink off as well. That's the frag now being connected as Stanley runs rampant, tearing his way through Haji. They have 3 players left standing. Some terrifying T's left alive, but what can they actually do here? Snot's going to go for the counter boost play. Lambert gets put up by Tree. This could be so critical. If they're not aware of this, he should be able to get at least 1 free kill on the board and stay alive. It's such an effective angle to try and strike from. Gets the opening frag. They now realize it, but he doubles it up as well. Takes another man down. That is massive. Equalized the situation massively. It went back into the favor of Method, but all of a sudden, it's coming up EnVyUs at this point. Weber needs to clutch this.
Weber now on the 1 versus 2 has no kit to use, no smoke as well. And actually might just cut his losses. Picks up the smoke grenade, rotates back around towards Connect and will be conceding this one. So actually the Sayers come through from a 5 versus 3 even. Stanley spraying 2 players through a smoke. With the 2-man disadvantage, the boost coming out from Lambert finds 3 frags. And the 2 versus 2, the T's, they have the site, and from there they don't allow Method to come anywhere close. Weber once again shaking his head. You saw how fast he was to concede that as well. Frustration maybe, because he had time on the clock, he had a smoke grenade, a kit. One of the players was dinked as well, but he instantly went for the save. It could be a sign that he's fairly ticked off.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, the buffer they had as well, essentially gone at this point. This round should be a doozy for Endpoint, as they just don't have... Sorry, for EnVyUs even. It's too much for Endpoint, mate. But for Method, obviously, they don't have too much to play with in their bank. You look at a couple of pistols here. EnVyUs at this point, equalize the scoreline 10-10. Method then are really going to struggle to respond. A massive investment into this as well, so the cash is not going to be strong.
Potentially, I think they actually are saving this one. Can we see the money really fast, please, Sliggy? So yeah, they're gone for the quasi-buy into this round. Just obviously Weber saving over the M4 flashbang and smoke, and the kit as well. So it will be Weber and Stanley with Kevlar. Apart from that, no one else having armor on that CT side. And just CZs, Deagles, and PT50s. Once again for EnVyUs though, it's going to be a 5 AK setup. No SMGs for them this time round. And no AWP as well brought out for Lambert, so it will be the 5 AK setup. Maybe they're expecting versus the 4 spy, but luckily for them, these CTs have no Kevlar. This should be a 10-10 scoreline.
PKL trying to take down Stanley here. The flashbang will go over, allows him safe passage towards the bomb site, but he's getting tagged up, gets very squishy, and Stanley is able to rip his way through with that CZ. The armor-piercing rounds take him down ever so swiftly. Hadje, though, responds like a madman as he starts to punch back. Nilzini up close and personal. All that does is make it even easier for Lambert to kill him.
Does indeed. So, 4 players alive right now for the side of EnVyUs. Weber went for the 1 side, well, 1 man towards A, 4 towards B. They went for the stack, but unfortunately for them, having no Kevlar proved to be their demise. Bomb exploding. 4, well, make it 5 rounds now, 1 in a row for that T side, and these rounds have been fairly clean as well. We obviously had the 2 versus 2 in the previous one, but EnVyUs having 4 alive now versus the quasi-buy coming out from Method. Their money is building. The same can't be said for Methods. They will be able to buy up into this round. Round number 21. Question is though, will they bring out an AWP? And if they do, who's going to be wielding it? Will it be Nilzini on the CT side, or will it be Pulse or Jenko towards the A side?
It's going to be important to see what decisions they actually bring to the table. Obviously, that AWP role inside of Method, it's always hard to pinpoint exactly what they want to do with it. Very different personalities, very different style of AWPing that's always on the move, constantly being switched up. And right now, both teams only requiring 6 rounds to be able to close this one out. If EnVyUs do pick this up, that's going to be a smooth 2-0, continuing their streak of domination. They have not won or lost a single game. They have dispatched every team they've played against so far in the Elite Series.
Exactly. So far, after 3 weeks, it's been a clean sweep. Jenko peeking towards mid and Jax. Jenko just peeks for a second, and in a heartbeat, he will fall. It's going to be the 1-man advantage right now for the side of EnVyUs, and they potentially have the A site as well. Nilzini rotating in through balcony, going to try and hold the line towards middle and towards long, but in a 4 versus 1, you can't be favouring him here.
Definitely not. The push going to come through. Nilzinho just trying to stay alive, but Nilzinho goes huge as he starts to rip his way through. Nilzinho, that's a hat trick coming out. He had to do something unthinkable into the round to give Method a chance, and he did just that. It's a 2 versus 3 start. The bomb down an awkward location. Nilzinho also has backup now in the form of Pulse.
Lambert right now terrified of Nilzinho. Peaks comes out, he knows exactly where he is towards default, but he has to be anticipating the rotation to come through.
Method, but they still need to play it slow and play it smart. VKL comes in, the supporting factor, the actor that could be the difference maker. VKL finds a headshot towards Pulse. It's all on the hands of Nilzinho, but his head peeks into the crosshair of VKL. He will fall. Weber left with 2 softened targets. They are easy for him to take down if he can find the frags, and he has the Molotov and the kit.
Heartbreaking scenario now for Method after having the massive hat-trick frags coming out from Nilzinho towards default. It leaves Weber once again in the 1 versus 2 as the kit, Molotov, double flashback, but no smoke grenade for this retake. Bomb ticked away as well. Low HP onto VKL, that could be the silver lining here for him.
This is where Weber always excels. He has the Molotov, but he's not going to use Force Smoke. The side plays around the smoke, but he doesn't realize their location. They peek out, and they find these easy frags. He was so in the open, so many positions he would have had to clear, and he gets taken down.
Exactly that. Jenko giving away the advantage early on. Turns it into a 5 versus 4. I said you can't be favouring Nilzinho in the 1 versus 3. Or 1 versus 4 towards that site, actually. Finds 3 big kills towards the push. Stunts it. And then Lambert plays the patient game. He waits towards Wood. He waits for VKL to have the lurk through drop. Back towards Connector, towards APC. Finds the first frag there. And the second towards default onto Nilzinho. From a 4 versus 2. EnVyUs clinch it back. 6 rounds of the trot now on their T side. And now the confidence could begin to show. Method, they've been shattered by losing that round. And it shows in their economy as well. From the full buy, they're deducted to just pistols and already Weber finds the first dose of the AWP. Has been effective so far.
Yeah, the snap investment does pay off so far. Obviously, glass cannon as well, so if he overextends, he could be taken down very swiftly if they get those tags off.
Exactly that. So, 1 minute 10 on the clock right now. 4 versus 5. Kevlar onto everyone apart from Weber with the AWP, glass cannon AWP, and Jenko as well. Speaking of Nilzinho, went huge in the last round towards the ace up, but Jax does find him, turns into a 4 versus 4, 1 minute left on the clock.
Completely bypassed each other there around the smoke. He had no idea that he was so close to him. Couldn't smell him, unfortunately, so he will actually be taken down. Leaves them in a 3 versus 4 at this point. Weber on the site, that's the AWP. He went for the frag, but Jax, so powerful.
He was indeed. Standing up, pushes through the smoke, catches Lambert off guard, finds 1 frag, can't get the second. There's a fast reply kill from Jax. Turns it into Pulse, being last alive. A 4K for Jax, but unfortunately for Jack, obviously the fact that Pulse is saving will take away any hopes and dreams of Jax finding a nice ace on the 22nd round. Instead, we go to the next one. 12 to 10 will be the scoreline as Pulse is currently saving. And look at the money on the CT side. They can buy up into the next round. So they went for the Quasi, the Eco, I guess, in this round here. They lose it. And now they're going to be buying up into round number 23, but still, from a 10-5 lead, they are now looking at a 12 to 10 scoreline, losing 7 on the trot.
Yeah, this is not a good situation to be in for Method. Looked like they had understood exactly what they needed to do, written out the path they wanted to take, and all of a sudden they have tripped, they've fallen over snods, they've grazed their knee, and it is just not going at all the way they wanted to.
Exactly that. So, let's take a look at the buy coming out from Method. Are they going to go for the double lot setup, or are they going to keep it single?
Who knows?
Yeah, nice guys. Jenko on your screens, one of the A players. We saw him, well, last time they played Cobblestone, he had 30 frags. Oh no, actually, that was in Masters. That was during the week. That wasn't actually the Elite Series, but nevertheless, right? The staples of Cobblestone CT side for Method is Jenko and Pulse towards the B bomb site. But so far, EnVyUs have kept going towards A. They keep finding the entries towards that site. To this round, though, there's a fast play coming out from EnVyUs towards the B site. Lambert with the AWP throws a flash, smoke grenade towards the A site. It's going to keep 2 players there. So it's going to be the 3 versus 5 now as the execute reins in towards the B site. Can Weber's AWP deal the damage it needs to hold off the push?
Smart Molotov gets Stanley out of the power position he was in. He has to jump off a tree straight away. Weber smoked out as well, but luckily enough, Stanley is still able to pack a punch, even though he's not in a great position. Finds these headshots through the smoke. Jenko also comes into play. Jax and Lambert are the last 2 men left standing, hoping to do something, but Stanley takes the fight straight towards him. Walks in with so much confidence as he struts his stuff, and it's left in the hands of Lambert. You can see him panicking, getting pushed from all angles, and Method do take him down.
That's what, 5 kills now for Stanley through a smoke? Just into this game. The last time, well, on the T side Method, when they went for the execution towards B, Stanley was able to find 2 kills through the Speedway smoke. And right there, he does the exact same, but this time on the flip side, on the CT side. Actually, no. Finds 1 and then finds a second. Well, he was spamming the smoke, and he still gets it. But nevertheless, it will be 12 to 11 right now. EnVyUs still with a 1 round advantage. Method right now prone to being reset if they lose this one. Then again, they did have forced their lives, so their money could be fairly decent, but buying utility and whatnot does slowly dwindle it away. Anyway, round number 24 now. 4 AKs and an AWP for the T side. And now we finally see the double up setup on the CT side of Cobblestone from Method.
Yeah, double AWP coming out to play is going to be very, very impactful into this. They need to try and wield it correctly, though.
Exactly. It seems like double up setup right now is in the meta right now. GT, you'll have Kenny S opening towards A, Shox opening towards B, Virtus Pro, you have Pasha opening towards B, Snacks opening towards A. Trying to think of another team. SK, Cold Zero open towards B, Fallen to open towards A. Let's see if NeilZeno can mimic a player like Fallen. I know he can't.
Unfortunately not, he has fallen himself as he goes down. Hadji will find a headshot that lays him to rest. Jax as well keeps it going as he rips his way through Pulse. He doesn't have much of a pulse now, mate.
Oh, you're giving it, mate. The wordplay coming out from you. If only Method of the same composure. 13-11 with this scoreline now. VKL lining up a nice crossfire, or not crossfire, but nice crosshair as they walk into a scope. Talking about scopes though, it's going to be Lambert finding the frag onto Weber. No CT players surviving, which means their money and their buy should be weak.
True indeed. Weak like a small lizard. Scuttling along.
Exactly that. You do love the crazy references, don't you?
It's very true, mate. Some crazy players been coming out into this matchup as well. It's been looking good. Heavy impact just internally. We're looking at massive impact frags across the board.
So, 13-11 with this scoreline as we go into round number 25. Look at the buy coming out from Method, though. UMP onto Jenko, a lack of utility for NeilZeno, and a FAMAS on Pulse, and 3 M4s. And the money they have as well is 0. They've used everything they have in the bank to fall by this. You saw 9,000 onto Hadji or Lambert, one of the two, anyway. 9,000 to one of the T players, 6,000 across the board as well, so right now EnVyUs, they can buy for another 3 remaining rounds if Method can still, well, it's a big ask, right? Method to win 3 in a row. Problem is though, if they don't, all it takes is EnVyUs now to win 3 to get to ever so important 16th round.
Yeah, claim that 2-0, keep themselves seaming through, and hold on to that #1 seed at the top of the group stage.
I believe they still have the #1 seed even if they lose this map, because they get the draw. They're on 13 points currently, but can they make it 15?
Yeah. And further that even more so, make themselves even further untouchable.
So far for Method on the CT side, they found 1 round. EnVyUs finding 8. Can they make it 9 though? Weber peeking towards B, platform, spots out the players and spots the bomb as well.
Oh, they actually push straight through the smoke. This creates an opener for Weber, but it doesn't quite go in his favor. VKL overpowers him, takes him down. Stanley and Pulse come into play, but they can't quite do the damage. It's all coming up EnVyUs as they sprint their way in towards the bomb site.
And now the after plant position could be so good for the T side. You got Lambert holding the flank. Smoke towards Connected, denying the push to come through. Smoke towards Electric as well, so Jenko could get no information.
Flashbang over blinds Jax at this point. The second flash is going to be the time where they have to strike. They bound out. They do find the kills. It's 2 men left on the side of EnVyUs, and Jenko only has a UMP to play with. VKL is low, but it's about Lambert. That is going to be the impact factor. A flash remaining in his pocket. But what happens is he receives a bullet straight to the cranium and goes down.
14-11 will be your scoreline now. Method forcing everything they had into that round. Trying to make it 12-13, but instead they fall short. They have the man advantage, but they let it slip away. And look at their money. They're going to be playing for overtime, Jack. They're going to concede this round. They're going to be ecoing round number 26, allow EnVyUs to get to round number 15. But one of the problems with ecoing this round here is the fact that this means EnVyUs can build up even more cash. And from there, they should be able to buy up for the remaining 4 rounds.
It's true indeed. They're looking good in terms of form right now. There is that crossfire set up towards mid where they're going to try and bait for each other. But will they fall for it? They actually do. They peek out. Pulse able to get the opening headshot, but they flick straight round. They take him down. Already only 2 members left on the side of Method. This is going to be match point at the bare minimum secured by EnVyUs now, as there is no way the CT defense could do too much else. Stanley actually does find 1 headshot, but that is going to be all he claims.
Exactly that. 2 frags is all they get on the eco round, as they are going to be buying up into round number 27 now. It's going to be match point 15-11 in favor of EnVyUs. So far, they've won 7 maps on the Trop. Can they make it 8?
That's the thing. Back-to-back wins for them. They have been looking incredible in terms of form, and this is where they'll be able to further it even more at this point. The early aggression does come out once again towards Abbey bomb site. They know they have a little bit of a buffer to play with, so potentially they just try and hit Method with something they're not used to, a shock and awe style play. Straight out, they try and go for the early face, but Lambert just receives the gift of a couple of bullets straight towards him. The smoke is going to go down by Stanley though.
First frag found for Method right now. So Lambert is dinked up, went for the fast play towards B, had the spawn, trying to take advantage of the weak CT side we've been seeing so far from Method. But Jax, the lurk player, the star player for EnVyUs, equalises the numbers, but as I say, that Jacob comes in from behind and gets the trade frag. Same can be said for Peteskill as well, 3 versus 3.
Even though the smoke is down, they don't want to run the risk. They're not going to do the Bardolph burst and push straight through it. They will hold back for the meantime and try and play it smart, but Pulse up close and personal. He is going to be so key in the round here. If he finds these frags, Nods, he can delay them long enough that they can get the rotate over, try it and play this at a smart level, but it all depends on the next move from EnVyUs.
Exactly. What is their next move? You've got one player there, VKL, towards, well, outside drop, heading back slowly towards the A site. In terms of utility, they have a smoke, 2 Molotovs, 2 flashbangs. They can smoke connector here. They can molly towards Hobbit and flash middle and try and catch Pulse off guard. But Pulse playing the 1 for done position. He's going to hear these steps as well. They know exactly what's going on. We should be seeing a rotation from Weber here towards the A site, and we are 3 men now towards A for Method. Can they hold this 3-man attack from EnVyUs?
Pulse, they need to clear the angle though. He can go for the backstab into the late round. Stanley can play with him efficiently as well. They do have the flashes to play. Pulse taken down ever so swiftly. Peteskill overpowers him as he sprints across the site, getting himself into a fantastic position. Stanley will strike as he appears out of nowhere. Says Peekaboo. Weber also comes into play. It's all on Lambert. The Molotov sends Stanley off to the Burns ward. He just has to overpower Weber now.
Weber now on the 1 versus 1. Lambert, no utility and low HP as well. 1 bullet from the AK will find him. Weber hopelessly spamming through the wood, trying to find the kill, but can't connect any bullets. No kit as well, has to go for the 10-second defuse.
Gets himself into the high angle. As soon as he taps that bomb, it will force the face from Lambert, but he's burning through so much time. Lambert is not going to play into his hands just yet. But it's such a long defuse. The peak comes out. Lambert will find it. So close to stopping it and giving themselves a fighting chance to another round. But EnVyUs, they don't want to mess about. They close it out 2-0. Once again, not only are they that top seed right now, they are doing it in absolute flamboyant fashion.
4-0 for them in the Elite Series. They win 8 maps on the Tron. It's going to be 16-12 on the first map and then 16-11 on Cobblestone. The thing is about that Cobblestone scoreline is 10-5 first half. From there, Method only won 1 CT round. Even with massive plays from Nozino, 3Ks, 4Ks from him, they weren't able to clinch out any more rounds than just 1 on their CT side. Simply put, it's just going to be Method showing up once again with their strong T sides and their weak defense.
It's true. It looked like they had the keys to try and work that one out. The structure was appearing even more so in Cobblestone. That is the most rounds we've seen anyone actually get off EnVyUs so far throughout the league. It seemed like maybe this was going to be the difference maker. Method go 1-1 and close it out, but it was not meant to be.
It's ironic as well. Usually they're more of a slow burner. They start off slow, they bring it back on the second half, and they win from having a, basically bringing it back, to put it bluntly. This time, though, they had the advantage early on, but they let it slip. That's uncharacteristic for Method.
It is indeed. But what's not uncharacteristic is where we're going to head back over to. It's the undercover lizard himself, Tom Deacon.
Oh, you beast, you. Oh, thank you very much, Jackie. Thank you very much, Snods. Yeah, there we go. We thought it would happen, and it did. A 2-0 win to EnVyUs. Dominant play on Cobblestone, but not so much, because you heard from Snods and Jackie that they talked about the fact that they lost a lot of rounds there, but hey, they still got the 2-0 win, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. Even though the scoreline says 16-11, that second half was definitely one-sided. Didn't seem like they had many issues on T side. CT was a bit of a, I suppose, harsh affair for them, but it changed completely at half-time, really.
Yeah. Dominant display from EnVyUs, or were they a little bit shaky at times?
I thought the first half was promising for Methods. They caused a lot of problems for Envy around the drop area. 10-5 scoreline at half-time is pretty good, but they only got 1 round in the second half. But, the first half was good for them, and they didn't win either pistol, which certainly doesn't help, right? That really helps the Envy side a lot. So puts them on the back foot. The score was quickly tied up, but again, just 1 round in the second half is not quite going to cut it.
Yeah. Were there any sort of highlights from that map that you sort of would pick out and say, well, that was good play from Method, or great play from Envy?